Well. World-class veteran video game critic Michael Does Life. Oh, Michael.
Oh, it's a setup, it's a setup, it's a setup. There's an oh, it's a setup, it's a setup, it's a setup. There's an oh, it's a setup, it's a setup. No, no, we setup. There's an oh, it's a setup, it's a setup. No, no, we setup. There's an oh, it's a setup, it's a setup. No, no, we setup. There's an oh, it's a setup, it's a setup. No, no, we setup. There's an oh, it's a setup, it's a setup. No, no, we setup. Trailer, there's a mo, it's a beast.
Shut the fuck up! Fucker! Move!
while you're here.
Bad luck, I guess.
There was a girl I knew. She said she cared about me. She tried to make my world the way she thought it should be. Yeah, we were desperate then to have each other to hold. There's a long road, yeah. There's a There were so many times I would wake up anew, yeah, with my head spinning round. I would wait for the moon. Yeah, we were desperate then to have each other to hold and give her one more chance to try to save my
Never has there been an opening like this in the entertainment industry. This week, Grand Theft Auto 5 pulled in $1 billion in sales in 3 days. No movie or music release has ever come close to that.
Yeah, it was hard to give up. Some things are hard to let go. Some things are never enough. I guess I only can go. Yeah, we were desperate then to have each other to hold and give her one more chance to try to save my There's a long road, yeah. There's a long road, yeah. We were desperate. There's a long road to have each other.
Folks at home, we need you to lock in a way that makes sense as we are approaching the end of February 2025. And believe it or not, Rockstar Games still has nothing to show for on the biggest entity in all of video, which of course now is the biggest disaster in all of gaming. Grand Theft Auto 6, folks, it has been nearly 450 days since Trailer 1 released. And you have these blind Rockstar fanboys that believe, for some reason, that this game is still on track, that this game is still coming out sometime later this year. And I hope that that is the case. We want to make that very clear. We want to see this sooner rather than later. But when Rockstar goes completely, totally radio silent for 450 days, that can't be a good sign. Georgie's coming through. He's popping the cherry. This is what we love to see.
Georgie Cifuentes super chatted $5. Hello, Michael.
And that's what we're talking about. Georgie is in here. He is recognizing greatness. The normies can't because this is one of those topics they love to cling on to and they can generate some clicks and engagement. But they can't do that right now because Rockstar isn't pulling the curtain back. And that's why we're here. That's why we're live, because when it gets quiet, we like to bark. And I'll tell you what, 450 days since GTA 6 Trailer 1. And they have absolutely nothing to show for. Now, with the help of AI here today, we're going to break down why this game could be potentially the biggest disaster. It already is, kind of. But why it really could be the biggest disaster in all the video whenever it does release. We're going to go into the AI. We're going to do the deep search. And it's going to use its AI powers. And we're going to really look at it in hopefully a way that makes sense. Georgie is coming through. This is what we love to see. We need you guys to wake up in here today, because today we're going to be dissecting this and why this game is in the state that it's in. This is utterly ridiculous. I didn't think we would still be having this conversation. We're nearly in March, and they still have nothing to show for. Now, of course, this could change at any time, but right now, as it stands as of this broadcast, nearly 450 days since GTA 6 Trailer 1, the curtain has yet to be pulled back, and it is so incredibly sad. Shenanigan S is coming through. This is what we love to see, big and hard and strong.
Shenanigan S has just tipped $19.99.
Holy motherfucking shit, that's what we're talking about.
It's a setup, it's a setup.
It might be. I mean, it really might be.
It never ends, the game is never coming out.
Unbelievable.
It's a setup, it's a setup.
It is really unbelievable. Shenanigan S is plowing through hard and strong, and in a way that makes sense with a hard and strong $20 super chat. You love to see it coming through. Current King of the Jungle, Shenanigan S, is in the building here today. We need you guys to lock in, as this game is still nowhere to be found. And I'll tell you what, if we're still having this conversation at the end of March, at some point there is a cutoff point. Maybe it's not necessarily obvious, but at some point there is a cutoff point. If we are still led to believe that this game is coming in fall of 2025, they're going to have to pull the curtain back sooner rather than later. It is 2025. We're almost in March of 2025. The curtain has to be pulled back. And maybe Rockstar doesn't want to pull the curtain back. But at some point, if we are led to believe that this game is coming in fall of 2025, the curtain at some point must be pulled back, whether Rockstar Games likes it or not. So that's what we are waiting for. And we're going to still continue to wait, because Rockstar still has no signs of pulling the curtain back from what we can see from this perspective. And again, Shenanigan S is plowing through hard and strong, and in a way that makes sense. You love to see it. Shenanigan S is in the building and coming through so tremendously strong. You love to see it. We're going to be using the AI today. We're going to see what it can do and see how powerful it is, and we're going to be dissecting why Rockstar Games has changed. This is going to be a rude awakening for a lot of people, because a lot of people think that Rockstar Games is still the same company that they grew up with, you know, the Manhunt games, the old GTA games. It's no longer that same company, and we saw that recently with Avowed. You know, Avowed is a terrible game, and Avowed came out, and it woke people up. It woke people up, and people realized that Obsidian is no longer the Obsidian that made Fallout New Vegas. And this is what we're talking about. Big support continues here today.
Tipped £9.99 through Super Chat. Time for some truth bombs about GTA. Today
That's what we're talking about. Jack Bitten is coming through.
Best place to be.
And in a way that makes sense, with a $5 super chat, Jack Bitten is coming through hard and strong. And I got to reiterate this, as we're seemingly having some technical difficulties, but I got to reiterate this, folks. We want to see GTA 6 come out this year. We really do. We want to see it hit that fall 2025 release window. But at this point, from our perspective, nearly 450 days since GTA 6 Trailer 1, quite frankly, it's not looking too optimistic at this point. I'll tell you that right here, right now. That's what we love to see. Big support here today, coming through hard and strong. Huge shout out to Shenanigan S for laying down that orange super chat. And we got orange out here today for Shenanigan S, believe me. We got orange out here today for Shenanigan S. We got that cream pie pop right there, and we also have this orange beef jerky. We need you guys to lock in, and lock in a way that makes sense. 450 days. Let's go ahead and pound that like button, folks. We're not at 100 likes. We should be at 100 likes. 450 days nearly since GTA 6 Trailer 1, and Rockstar still has nothing to show for. Now, there is hope. And Georgie's coming through with the two-time Tony Hawk combo. You love to see it. Georgie's in the building with that two-time Tony Hawk combo.
Michael, when is the next Take-Two earnings call?
You know, that's a great question, but I believe it might be in April or May. I'm not entirely sure. But whenever that is, we will be there. And if they're still saying the same thing, which they probably will unless the game gets delayed between now and then, but if they're still saying fall 2025 at some point, you have to start questioning it, and you have to start saying, what are they smoking? Because what they're smoking, let me tell you, folks, is seemingly very strong. And if you think this game is coming out right now in fall of 2025, as we head into March, and if nothing changes in about a month from now, let's say in a month from now we're out here and we're doing the show, and it's still the same conversation, there's no way this game's coming out. There is a cutoff point. They need time to market this game. And this is one of the things that the Rockstar fanboys will tell you because they think they know how marketing works. And I'm not saying that I do. But from my perspective, from a world-class veteran video game critic perspective, okay, the marketing needs to be stronger. And here's my point, okay? AI has taken over. This has never been a challenge before. AI and what we're seeing with AI and how this is all coming together as of late within just the last 12 months, they have to show people that this is the actual game instead of this fake AI bullshit. So in my opinion, the marketing campaign has to be much stronger and bolder than ever before. Now, you could argue, well, Rockstar doesn't need to market the game. It's like Lamborghini. You know, they don't need to market Lamborghinis. You never see a Lamborghini commercial on television. Well, that's because no one can afford them unless you're, well off. And, if you're well off, you don't need to be sold that car. You go to the dealership and they get you. But you have to market GTA 6. I can go survey people, and we can go ahead and survey 100 people, and I can ask them, I say, hey, we can show them a character of Jason and Lucia. They're not going to know who these characters are. This is not a mainstream thing. It's an internet bubble thing. And when the game comes out, it will be mainstream. This is the game that's going to break the barrier yet again. Regardless of quality, this is the game that's going to break the barrier. This is almost like the PlayStation 2 coming back out, okay? If that makes any sense, an equivalence to that. This is almost like the PlayStation 2 re-releasing. We're talking a massive surge from people that put the controller down 20 plus years ago and said, I'm done with gaming. They moved on with their life. They're going to be coming back in with Grand Theft Auto 6. This is going to be the game that pushes the gaming medium back into the cool zone again, right? Where it's cool to play games. And not only that, but more importantly, it's mainstream again. Because gaming went mainstream. Gaming went mainstream. It's no longer mainstream. The problem with gaming today is that they're catering and pandering to the internet bubble crowd. And they're making these dweeb games. They're making these incel games. They're making these anti-fun, woke games that no one wants to play except but 5 losers on the internet who are clinically, terminally online and just down really bad. And that's why gaming is in the shitter. If I went out and asked 400 people today, what do you know about Black Myth Wukong? I guarantee you might find one person that has ever even heard about that game. You know what I mean? And these losers on the internet, they love to show these games that 5 people that have heard of on these internet forums. The point is that Grand Theft Auto 6 is bringing gaming back. This is going to be unlike anything you've ever seen before. I'm telling you. Regardless of when it comes out and regardless of quality, Grand Theft Auto 6 is bringing gaming back into the spotlight for better or worse. And with that comes the conversation of, is this game too violent? With that comes the conversation of, are video games addicting? With that comes the conversation of blah, 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 blah. So you're going to have all of that come back in, right? There's a whole new generation of gamers that never even have grown up with Grand Theft Auto. It's over. I mean, it's a sad situation, but it is what it is. That's how long it's been since GTA 5. That's what we're talking about. Isaac A is coming through. This is what we love to see. Coming through hard and strong with that hearty super chat, that $10 super chat. You love to see it coming through, and of course, in a way that makes sense with the $10 super chat. We are nearly 450 days away since GTA 6 Trailer 1, and Rockstar still hasn't pulled the curtain back. Today, later on in the show, we are going to be dissecting why Rockstar Games is no longer the same with the help of the Deep Search AI that is getting better by the day. So we're going to show you why a lot of people are going to be disappointed more than likely with this game. Now, I think there is hope. And I think Rockstar needs to understand, these developers who are making this game right now as we speak, they need to understand that what they're making is going to be relevant for at least the next 20 plus years in terms of it being like really, really popular. Of course, it's going to, Grand Theft Auto is like the Beatles for video games, right? Like in 50 years and 100 years, people are still going to be talking about GTA even if they don't make them anymore, right? That's how big of a franchise and a juggernaut this whole thing is. It's a franchise, and it's a game, Grand Theft Auto 6, where there won't be a GTA 7. There won't be a GTA 7. They're making this to be the be-all, end-all, more than likely, if I had to guess, where it's basically just a hub. And at that point, they can go for the next 15 plus years with this entity right here called Grand Theft Auto 6. And with that in mind, these developers need to know and understand that this game has to have no compromises. This game has to have no excuses. This game has to have no cut corners. It's as simple as that. We need to be able to go into 90% of the interiors. We need to be able to take the beach volleyball and say, hey, I want to play volleyball. We need to be able to take the surfboard and surf in the ocean. We need to be able to take the skateboard and skate at the skate park. We need to be able to take the basketball and put the basketball in the frickin' hoop. When you see it, you can interact with it. That should be on the back of the box for Grand Theft Auto 6. If you see it, you can interact with it. Boom, done. You've made the most immersive open world, and no one else will touch it for the next decade or so and even come close. You've made a game that other developers wish they could catch up to. This is what this game needs to be. This game needs to set a precedent for what this medium can provide. This game needs to be the be-all, end-all of video games. Because quite frankly, right now, it's a total disaster. I mean, with these releases and what you guys like and what you guys consider fantastic, it's a sad situation, that I can tell you. I mean, these games that come out left and right, they're terrible games. I mean, we just got a couple of new games that came out. Can't even remember what they were, but they're just so terrible. I mean, it's just, they're unforgettable. I mean, they're not unforgettable. In fact, they're anything but that. They're forgettable. And not only that, but they're disposable. They make disposable software that, they talk about for about a week or so, and then they move on to the next best thing. I mean, Assassin's Creed Shadows, that looks like absolute garbage. But that's not a surprise because, quite frankly, the Assassin's Creed games, we played the first one in 2007. I was there day one. And quite frankly, I mean, after that, you didn't need to play more. Isaac A's coming through with the two-time Tony Hawk Combo. You love to see it. That's what we're talking about. Hard and strong two-time Tony Hawk Combo support coming through in a way that makes sense. Isaac A is really just plowing through here with that two-time Tony Hawk Combo. We got Better Than Evil coming through. Remember, for 6 months, they're not listening. They have their thinking caps off. Well, they need to be able to find their thinking. They need to be able to find their thinking. It's someone's birthday in here. Georgie's coming through again. That's what we're talking about. We're catching up here. Jack Pitten's in the building as well, coming through with the 5. With the 10, rather. Jack Pitten coming through with the 10. That's what we're talking about. Georgie's in the building as well. And then Shenanigan S, I believe, still current king of the jungle. But Isaac H is there, coming through with the $5 super chat. We need you guys to lock in here today as we crack open the orange cream pop. Right here, I need you guys to lock in a way that makes sense. Are we lagging or not? It's nearly 450 days since GTA 6 Trailer 1, and we're certainly hoping that this changes shortly because the wait is getting unbelievably sad. And Georgie's coming through yet again. I think this is the 3 or 4 time Tony Hawk Combo for Georgie.
Georgie Cifuentes super chatted $5. GTA 6 just top GTA 5 in game mode and online.
It's got to go above and beyond. You have to understand, GTA 5, and this is what people are forgetting, GTA 5 was made on a console. When they aired, this is mind-blowing. This is a Joe Rogan moment where it's like you stop and think about what's being said, okay? Think about this. GTA 5, the second best-selling video game of all time. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. The second best-selling video game of all time. Came out in 2013. How many years ago is that? Well, let's get that calculator out because I'll tell you what, I need it. But with that said, 2013. It's been over a decade. That's what we need to know. It's been over a decade. With that said, when the game came out, the hardware that it was built for, I need you to lock in here. That's what we're talking about. Shekels is coming through.
The 11111 has just tipped 35 Israeli new shekels and 90 agarot through Super Chat. The gay fans of Arthur Morgan doesn't love GTA 6 because Jason is ugly.
Yeah, they should just have a feature where you can play as Arthur Morgan and then they'll be shelling it to the moon and back because they just love Arthur Morgan. You know, they just, there's a few close-ups in the game in Red Dead Redemption 2 where they get real close on Arthur Morgan's face. And, you know, I know those guys, they got really excited about that. They're like, oh my God, Arthur Morgan. But we're really going back to what I was saying. GTA 5 was made on hardware that had 512 megabytes of RAM. And not only that, but 256 megabytes of RAM. So you're talking about a game, and obviously the version that we have today is much more advanced, but still primarily, and I'm not a game dev, so obviously I don't really know, but it's not hard to tell that GTA 5, the roots, the fundamentals of that game is still anchored to the hardware that it was initially designed for, if that makes any sense. They made GTA 5 on 512 megabytes of RAM in 2013. So hold on. You're not maybe really getting that. Let's break it down in a different way. They made GTA 5 on 2005 hardware, homie. The second best-selling video game of all time was made on 2005 hardware. Unbelievable. And Isaac A., speaking of unbelievable, coming through yet again. This is what we love to see. That's what we're talking about. Isaac A. is coming through yet again, and in a way that makes sense. We can't even keep up. The support's so strong today. Multiple Tony Hawk combos coming through left and right. And speaking of Tony Hawk, there's a new Tony Hawk game coming out. The remastering, I think, Tony Hawk 3 and 4. That's going to be announced probably within the next month or so, or whenever that was. I'm not sure. Not that I really care. I don't need another Tony Hawk remaster. I want a new Tony Hawk game built from the ground up. Let's make something new. Let's make something exciting again. Because Skate 4, I mean, well, that's not. Oh Lord, Skate 4 is terrible. The new Battlefield is terrible. I don't know what EA's thinking, but they're not making games anymore. They're saying, hey, can you make the game for us for free? That's what they're basically doing. And you guys are like, oh, I want to get my hands on the new skateboard game. And it's like, okay, but what they're essentially asking you to do is play test their game for free. And back in the day, you at least got paid for that. But now they just open it up to people that sign up and they roll out the ongoing, on-progress kind of type game, and it's never really finished like Skate 4 and the new Battlefield. So you guys can praise the new Battlefield and say, well, they're getting it back to basics. But quite frankly, while that might be true in some cases, you're developing the game for free for them. I mean, it's just ridiculous to say the least. But it just shows that this is the state of gaming in 2025 and beyond. It's a sad situation, and quite frankly, it's not going to get better. The entire industry has hit rock bottom. We are in a gaming crash right now. You could argue, well, the numbers say otherwise, and you could argue that, the reality of the situation is that gaming is making more money than ever before. And I'm sure that's the case, but is it really having a lasting impression on the gamers that are growing up with these games today? I mean, are people going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows in 10 or 15 years from now? I sincerely doubt that. I really don't think that's going to be the case. And, Black Flag came out about 10 years ago, and people still have fond memories for that game. And I'm not saying that game's even good. I think that game is terrible. Actually, I played Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and that's a terrible game. I mean, it's quite frankly just the same old garbage with the pirate theme on it because they looked at the Johnny Depp Pirates of the Caribbean and they said, we want to make some Disney money. And that's what they did. They made a Black Flag. That's what they did. They made a pirate ship game where you roam around as the Assassin's Creed brand, and all the normies loved it. But quite frankly, that game was terrible. There's only 2 Assassin's Creed games that I would recommend because there's only 2 that actually tried to do something a little bit different. And that's, of course, the first one because that's, the first game, and it's really setting everything up. And it was all new at the time, and it was very exciting and fresh and different. And then you have Assassin's Creed Unity. I think that game pushed the boundaries of what they could do on the technical side. And I think if you roam around France in Assassin's Creed Unity, Italy. I believe it takes place in France. If you roam around in France in Assassin's Creed Unity and actually look around a little bit, they sell the believability pretty well of France back in the day. And they also have about 5,000 NPCs on the screen. Where did that technology go? Now we're making mobile games that run on your phone. That's what Assassin's Creed Shadow is. It's a mobile game that literally runs on your phone, and I'm not trolling. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a tablet game. How can you be impressed with the tablet game? I mean, that's unbelievable. So they have to start scaling all of these games for all these devices, and it turns into just a terrible experience, because they couldn't put 10,000 NPCs, 5,000 NPCs on the screen on a phone. So that means it's just not going to be in the game. They're going to just gut that whole thing out. It's a terrible situation. It really is. And speaking of a terrible situation, 450 days since GTA 6 Trailer 1 nearly, and Rockstar still has nothing to show for. We saw this with Obsidian as of late. Avowed came out. I went viral on it. I got 1.1 million views on Twitter. I showed Avowed. I took a clip from my stream, and I got 1.1 million views on Twitter, which is ironic because, you could never see those numbers here on YouTube. YouTube just could never give you that reach. But terrible platform. But I will say that it was a wake-up call for a lot of people because a lot of people were looking forward to Avowed. They said it was the Skyrim Obsidian. Obsidian's a respected developer, or at least they were. And a lot of people have fond memories of Fallout New Vegas. I don't necessarily think it's all that cracked up. I don't think it's all that fantastic. I think the freedom is interesting, the choice of freedom and how you want to go about the way you want to play the game. I think that's the best part about it. But everything else surrounding it isn't really all that impressive. It's a very dated game. It was dated when it came out in 2009 or 2010, whatever that was. And Fallout New Vegas looked like garbage. I mean, you have literal when you walk around the map in that game, it looks like feces. I mean, it's like you're walking in a toilet bowl. I mean, quite frankly, it looks like you're walking. So they should probably remaster that game and keep just everything intact, keep the source code intact, and just put new textures on it and put some depth of field on it and, put DLSS4 on it, and the normies would just eat it up like no tomorrow, quite frankly, because they can't make a Fallout New Vegas 2. They don't have the technology. Something happened in the gaming industry with the technology got in the way and it got worse. It's like if it's like if Bon Jovi said, we want to get back together and we want to make our brand new album sound like it is from the 80s. Well, the only way that they can do that is if they get the equipment from the 80s, and I don't think that even exists anymore. And not to mention everything's changed. It went from analog to digital, so they would have to go back and record it in all analog, and that's still possible, but is it really going to hit the same, even if they can make it happen? I don't think it will. So the problem with game development is that they don't have that, it's not similar to that in that sense where they can just go back to the old technology and develop these old games. I don't think that that's the case. Because if it were, we would be seeing great classics come out left and right, The technology has evolved, but we're not seeing the games evolve with the technology. In fact, they're going backwards. So the point is that we saw that Obsidian has fallen from grace. They went from internet darling to Avowed is like a big WTF. And that's what's going to happen again with Rockstar Games and GTA 6. You guys are not interested in hearing this, and I understand that. But when GTA 6 comes out, and it might be surprising in a lot of ways. I think you're going to be able to pull up to the gas station in GTA 6, and I think you're going to be able to fill up the car with gas. I think that's very much so going to be a feature in this game. And my jaw is going to be on the floor because this is everything that I've wanted in a Grand Theft Auto game. I want full immersion. If you can see it, you can interact with it, period, end of story. Now, we're not talking full-on simulation, but I think you're going to be able to maintain the car. You have to put gas in the car or charge the car in order for the car to move like you do with the horse in Red Dead, right? You have to feed the horse in Red Dead in order to maximize the speed of the horse and to maintain the horse. You don't really have to do it, but it is going to slow it down, right? It's going to slow the horse down. You got to pet the horse. You got to comb the horse's hair. You got to feed the horse. You got to do this, that, and the third. So you have the babysitting mechanics kind of in there. But with that said, the car has to be a big fundamental part of GTA 6. The car has to be overhauled, and the way you get a car has to be treated way more realistic, if that makes any sense. You can't just go up and get any car you want. That's ridiculous because Well, when you play the game, you'll probably understand. I think I know the direction they're going, and I think you guys are going to be not satisfied. I don't think you're going to be able to get into every car. I think you will, but I think it's going to be a little bit more challenging. I don't think it's just going to be press triangle and watch an animation and have it play out every time successfully. I don't think that's going to be the case. I want a game where where you don't always get into the car. Like, you press triangle, the animation, cycles up, and it's an automatic success. And that's not realistic. What if Nico didn't successfully get into the car in GTA 4? Well, that would be surprising, right? We don't often see that. So there's going to be big changes with this game, and I don't know necessarily if it's going to be changed for the better. I need you guys to lock in. We're going to be dissecting this here shortly. Georgie's coming through yet again. Let's hit that like button. I need you guys to lock in.
Georgie Cifuentes super chatted $5. Rockstar needs to give players lots of features in GTA 6. Like surfing, surfer, ocean wave.
Exactly. I'm going to tell you right now, when we play GTA 6, whenever we're able to roam the open world, that might take a few hours. Who knows what the prologue is going to be in that game. But when we're able to roam in GTA 6, if I see a surfboard and I can't press triangle on my controller and pick the surfboard up, it's a disappointment. I'm sorry. You can't put objects in front of me and then not have them interactable, if that makes any sense. If I see a surfboard, you should be able to go surfing. This is what I said earlier. If I see a skateboard, you should be able to go skateboarding. If I see a brick, like in GTA 4, you can pick up things on the ground. You could pick up cups. And they took this out in GTA 5. In GTA 4, you could pick up bricks. You could throw them. You could pick up trash, you could throw that. That needs to come back, right? If you see it, you can interact with it in a way that makes sense. We're not asking for full simulation, and I'm not asking for cheap gimmicky mini games, but we're asking for some immersion and interaction. That's what we're asking for. If I see the basketball and there's a court nearby, I want to shoot some hoops. But I don't know if they can do that because, quite frankly, if they make a basketball game, and I'm being dead ass, if they make, and I need you to listen, get that thinking cap on. If they make a basketball game in Grand Theft Auto 6, it literally could potentially cannibalize the sales of NBA 2K. Now, you could argue, well, no, it won't because I want to play as LeBron James in NBA 2K, right? It's the NBA, the National Basketball Association. Okay, well, you obviously don't have that in GTA 6. You're not, LeBron James isn't in Miami in GTA 6, right? It's not going to, well, actually, you never know. But I don't believe that that's the case. Nonetheless, with that said, if they make a basketball mini game here and it has the euphoria physics and they go all in, it literally could potentially cannibalize the sales of NBA 2K, which is another Take-Two property as well. So I don't think that they would even be allowed to do that because, especially in GTA 6 Online, people will literally migrate from NBA 2K and say, oh, this basketball game is trash. I want to play basketball in GTA 6 because mechanically it's better. That's going to cannibalize the player count on NBA 2K at the very least, and they don't want that. So maybe there is a line where they can't cross in terms of some of this stuff because maybe they do want to implement it. And again, when you buy a house in GTA 6, you should be able to start the lawnmower and cut the grass. And you're saying, wow, that's so dumb, Michael. It's a GTA game. Yeah, it is a GTA game, by the way. Yeah, it is. You're gonna see all about this GTA when this game comes out, and it's going to be censored, it's going to be sanitized, and you're going to love it because this is GTA in 2025. But with that said, if you buy a house in GTA 6, you should be able to get the lawnmower out, start it up, and mow the grass. The reason why I say this is because they've already done this before. In a game like Bully, you had to mow the grass when you were in detention. So they already have the mechanic in Bully, which is another game that Rockstar made many, many years ago. So they already have had that idea. It's already been implemented in the game. They can bring it back in GTA 6. I want full immersion with this game. When I watched the trailer for GTA 5, I was expecting a very different game than what we got. And maybe at some point Rockstar was developing that game. Maybe at some point Rockstar was trying to push the boundaries for what GTA 5 could be, but the hardware limitations of 512 megabytes of RAM, 256 megabytes of RAM, maybe reared their ugly head as they were developing the game, so they cut back on a lot of things that were maybe shown in GTA 5 Trailer 1, because there's a lot of things that in GTA 5 Trailer 1 that is not in the game at all. And no one calls that out because Rockstar, they're saints, they're sent from the heavens above, and they can do no wrong. But if Ubisoft did that, you'd hear about 20, losers on the internet complaining about, Watch Dogs 1 was downgraded. But let's look at GTA 5 Trailer 1, and let's look at the GTA 5 gameplay, and I'm going to show you the downgrade because, it's as plain as day. Even with the PS5 and PC, upcoming PC version of the game. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Lewis says, I want to go to the club and have some depth. Dance mechanics would be funny. That's what I'm saying. When I went to the club in Cyberpunk 2077, there was absolutely no immersion. Imagine building a club in a game, and you can buy a drink, but it doesn't even do anything. There's no drunk effect. Really the mentality of this game should be, when you enter a space in the game, it kind of just turns into in a game itself, if that makes any sense. We need interiors to be enterable. We need immersion to be fully maxed out. There's no GTA 7. And even if there is a GTA 7, how many of us are going to be around for that? We're talking 20-plus years for another game, especially with the way these games are coming out. It's taking longer and longer and longer to develop. It's not, game development costs are getting bigger and more bloated, and the game development timeline of putting these games out, it's taking at least 10-plus years. And that's not going to change unless AI maybe sweeps in. But I don't know if that's going to happen because, quite frankly, there's a lot of people that are against AI, and, they don't want that in their video games, but it's already been there. They just didn't realize it. There was a guy in the trailer with a lawnmower. Well, that's what I'm saying. And the social media system in GTA 6, that's going to be the big factor. The social media system in GTA 6, you're going to have these NPCs that dynamically film what the player does. And if it gets traction, you'll see it on social media, on your phone in the game. That's more than likely what that's going to be. Of course, we don't know. But at this point, anyone can say anything about this game because Rockstar hasn't pulled the curtain back in 450 days. So it's hard to not speculate. It's hard to not look at it and say, well, this is what it could be. This is what it maybe isn't. But the social media system has to be mind-blowing and revolutionary because there's no game that's ever done this before. There's been social media systems in, even GTA 5, but it was pretty bare bones. There was one in Watch Dogs, which was actually kind of cool. Watch Dogs 2, rather. I think the first one too, but I'm not sure. But the Watch Dogs 2 had a social media system, and you could make posts on your social media system, but it wasn't really that special or in depth. But I do believe that GTA 6 has this opportunity to take it to the next level in a way that really does make sense. But if you guys cannot clamor for quality, then they probably won't put it in, because why would they put it in? I mean, if the normies are going to buy this day one, why would they even put any quality in? All they need is great graphics and an emotional story, and everyone's just simping for Lucia and Jason in GTA 6 like they did with Arthur Morgan. They're simps. It's as simple as that. So they don't really need to go outside of their comfort zone and develop something truly extraordinary because, quite frankly, the normies are going to buy this day one. We will never see GTA 7. That's what I'm saying. They'll be forced to do Red Dead Redemption 3 from the higher ups since so many are already begging for it. We don't need Red Dead Redemption 3. I think that franchise has it depends. I mean, when GTA 6 comes out, we'll take a look at that and we'll say, okay, well, it's got to be. The thing is with Red Dead Redemption 2, it came out 6-7 years ago. It's already that old. It's nearly a decade old. I mean, by the time GTA 6 comes out, it's going to be even older. You can't look at Red Dead 2 as the be-all, end-all these days because that game came out over half a decade ago, right? It's already that old. So with that said, we need to look at GTA 6 as a totally separate thing, and we need to say, well, this is going to be. We want GTA 6 to make Red Dead 2 look like a PSP game. And I'm not talking in terms of graphics, but in terms of functionality and immersion and immersiveness. Because I play Red Dead 2 and I can find problems within 5 minutes. And if that stuff's going to retain itself in GTA 6, well, they can just pack it up. Because quite frankly, that's a disappointment. I mean, if you have construction workers working on the road, I want to sit there and watch that all play out. And I'm not asking for full immersion because I don't think that's possible with our technology. Maybe in 100 years they'll be able to make a game like that, but right now it's just I just don't think that that's really possible. Maybe it is. I'm not a game dev. Couldn't tell you. But if we can find one to talk to that actually has had experience in the AAA scene, we would love to get him on the show. But with that said, I'm going to tell you right here, right now, that if I see a construction crew on the road working on the road, I want to be able to sit there in game time and see if they ever leave. See if they ever put the jackhammer down and go to their truck and despawn. I don't need them to go to their homes because that's crazy. That's not what we're asking for. That's not going to happen. But with that said, we have to have these animations play out realistically. And more importantly, if they're fixing the road needs to be fixed in real time, right? So I think how you build upon this, is you take for bigger scenes, you incorporate that and you anchor it to the story, because that's what they did in Red Dead Redemption 2, right? A lot of the scenes where they're working on something in Red Dead Redemption 2, it doesn't get complete until you beat certain missions in the story and advance the chapters and things like that. Well, I think that's okay for the normies, right? But if you want to go above and beyond that, I think you have mini scenes. I think you have mini scenes, maybe about 50 mini scenes in Vice City, and you have them, and those are tethered to the game clock, like in-game time, right? And over time, you'll see the road get complete. Not based off of story progression, but just based off of hours and how many days have elapsed in the game. I think that's the next level, and that's what we're looking for with GTA 6. Now, I'm probably going to be disappointed day one. I don't think that's going to be necessarily a feature because the normies can't handle things like that. They can't handle depth. They can't handle immersion because they don't understand it. And when they don't understand it, they're not going to resonate with it. It's going to be a sad situation. The Cyberpunk sequel, let's not even talk about that because, quite frankly, the Cyberpunk sequel is on Unreal Engine, so they have moved from their proprietary engine to Unreal, which is already a terrible sign. And the new Mafia game, which, by the way, the new Mafia game is supposed to come out in the summer, and we're a few months away from summer, right? I think summer starts in May or June, I'm not sure. But summer's coming pretty quickly here, much quicker than fall. And where's the Mafia Old Country at, right? I mean, you know, they want us to believe that these games are coming out, but it's like, well, where's the update for Mafia Old Country? Well, that's nowhere to be found either. It's a sad situation. But they do have to get that game out before GTA 6, but I think they're waiting until the very last minute. I don't even think Take-Two knows what's going on. But I think they're waiting until the very last minute because Rockstar could just say, hey, we're going to update our social media. We're going to say that this is when GTA 6 is coming out. And then that's going to have a ripple effect within the industry, and publishers are going to come out and say, holy shit, we need to move our game away from this immediately, and we're going to announce a delay for this game because it's too close to GTA 6. So you're going to have a ripple effect. You're going to have an effect where it does impact the entire industry. And really what's happening now is that Rockstar is kind of holding up the games industry, you know, for games later this year, for games that don't have release dates. Because good luck to those games being successful, even if they're fantastic. They're not going to survive in a world where GTA 6 comes out and dominates and just completely obliterates the competition. And even if these games are totally separate, you know, they put out a new Final Fantasy game, no one's buying that over GTA 6. It doesn't matter what it is. A sports game, a Call of Duty game. I mean, everyone is buying GTA 6, and it doesn't seem like that now, but when this thing comes out, I mean, you're going to be seeing this all across the news. This is the game that gets the video games back on the news, right? Like that I'm telling you, this is bigger than what you guys can think. This is bigger than what you guys can imagine right now because Rockstar's so silent. But we're talking about when the silence has ended, and I don't know when that's coming. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. But we're talking about when Rockstar pulls the curtain back finally, and they come out of the woodwork and they say, here it is. And maybe it's not this year, maybe it is next year, but nonetheless, that's what we're looking for. And when that time does come, and when this game starts to take pre-orders and all of this stuff, I mean, you're going to see just record-breaking. I mean, just in every aspect, record-breaking. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be unbelievably successful, regardless of quality. And that's unfortunately sad because there is no competition anymore. And I think that's one of the reasons why this game won't be that great, because there's no competition anymore. Saints Row is over. You know, we saw the last Saints Row game, and what I was looking for in the new Saints Row, I don't care about the woke themes. I don't care about the storyline. We'll skip the cutscenes. Don't care, right? We can play as any character. We don't care about what they look like. Doesn't matter to me. We don't play games for story unless it's really good high production value. You know, when GTA 6 comes out, I'm not skipping the cutscenes because I know the acting's going to be on point. I know the direction's going to be on point. I know they're going to actually have production behind the damn cutscene, and it's not just a bunch of bullshit. So with that said, we'll watch unless it gets too tedious. But the new Saints Row failed because they didn't have the mentality of fun. You play Saints Row 2, and Saints Row 2 is a wacky game. It's a fun game. It's a game you play where you can have fun and you can just do whatever, and it's just fun. It embraces fun, and they lost that with the new Saints Row. It's not about the woke themes. It's not about it's about they made a new Saints Row game. They had an opportunity to really do something with that experience and bring that back in a way that made sense, but they failed to deliver on all fronts because there was nothing fun to do in the game. I played the new Saints Row, and it was just a shooting gallery game where you roam around and do the same thing for, 20-plus hours, and that's not fun, right? There was no variety in terms of the activities. There was no Easter eggs that were interesting in any sort of... So it was just a terrible game. It's like, how could you do this? You make a new Saints Row game, you have an opportunity to bring it back, and, you ignore the internet hate bubble. If I were working at Volition, I would say, who cares what they think? And I'm glad that they doubled down on that, and I'm glad that they said, we want to make this game woke, and we want to do what we want to do, because I'll respect that. I don't have to agree with it, but I'll respect it. I can respect that hustle, and I can respect that direction that they actually sat down and they said, no, we're not bending the knee to the internet community. We're not doing that, because do they really dictate sales? I don't think that they do. But because if they did, there's a lot of games that wouldn't sell. You have to understand there's a lot of gamers that aren't necessarily intertwined with the internet bubble. And maybe that has dwindled a little bit within the last 15 to 20 years, but because you had magazines, you had video game TV shows back in the day, it's all different now. A lot of it has... Jack Pitton is coming through.
The rumor about GTA 6 being like Fortnite/Roblox where players can add/modify assets and bring brands in. Would be interesting to see what it is like.
Well, first of all, that's for the online, and I think in order for me to get excited about this game, they have to really start strong with a fantastic campaign. And the Bonnie and Clyde modernized tale in Vice City of Jason and Lucia and their whole saga and where they take it and so on and so forth. And this has to be the most immersive, most groundbreaking experience yet. So they have to get that right first before we start talking about GTA Online. But of course, I already said this, and I'll say it again, the role-play aspects are going to be there day one. So if you want to role-play in GTA 6 Online, whenever that comes out, it will be there more than likely day one. I think that's a safe bet. The role-play mechanics, the role-play aspects are going to be there day one. So if you want to create your character in GTA Online, GTA 6, you're going to be able to role-play within the world, and it's not going to feel as empty. It's not going to feel as just set dressing for these, kind of samey activities where you just roam around and grind and blah, 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 blah. So there's going to be much more to that. You're going to be able to role-play. This is going to become This is going to be a dangerous game. Let me just put it to you that way in terms of video game addiction and, things like that. So if Jack Thompson could come back, that would probably be fantastic to put the message out there that, you probably do need to watch, you should be. I think they should raise the limit, the age limit on this game. I think specifically, the ESRB rating boards. I think they should come out with a new rating just for this game, and I think it should be 25 and above. I think it should be 25 and above. I think what is it, 18 or 17? I think that's way. That's not where this needs to be for this game. I think this is a game that's going to reintroduce video game addiction. I think this is going to. It has more negatives than positives for gamers that aren't necessarily totally mature, and they don't know how to decipher what they're seeing on the screen, and it's just not going to be healthy. I mean, look, if you can get paid online, if you can somehow make real money on GTA 6 2.0 online, well then you bet your ass I'll be getting a job in that. I'll be getting a job in this virtual world. That's fine with me. But if they don't have that feature, then I'm not putting we're not playing it all day and all night just to sit here and say we want to play. I want to go to my virtual job in my virtual world. That's no life activity. That's built for people that have no life. And it's like, well, there's a lot of people that have no life. Obviously, that's why the internet is so rampant, because no one has a life. If you're on the internet, you don't have a life. It's called real world. I'm out here in the real world. You think all of these cars going by are on the internet? They're not on the internet. None of these people are on the internet. They can't be on the internet. They're driving the car. This is the reality we live in. These cars are not self-driving yet. Not every car is self-driving yet. There are some cars that are self-driving. But these people, there's an actual human being behind the automobile, right? There's an actual human being behind the machine. So what's the human being doing? Well, the human being is controlling the machine. These people are not on the internet. We're seeing hundreds of cars pass by. None of them are on the internet. So there's two different worlds. But I think with GTA 6, I think they should come out with a brand new rating system for GTA 6. I think 25 and above, and I think they need to implement new measures in case little Johnny wants to go ahead and download GTA 6 from the PlayStation Store, because, it's pretty easy to do that. Back in the day, it was actually harder because the stores had to enforce the ESRB thing, and you had to be over a certain age to buy the game, but that's no longer the case, and I don't think that this game's going to have a physical edition, and I know that's going to piss some people off. The whole thing with this game, the internet's going to turn on this game real quick, I'll tell you that right now. Right now, they're still in that honeymoon phase where, love is a long road, GTA 6, this and that and the third. But when this game comes out, and when they do announce a $100 edition, you guys are going to complain and complain and complain. And then what's going to happen when the game does come out, you're going to be buying it day one. So the hypocrites that you are, I'm not complaining about the $100 price tag. If the game is worth that, that's what we'll pay. That's fine with me. I really don't care. If they present a quality product, the price doesn't matter. The game could be $1,000. But if they told me every NPC has a schedule, if every NPC lives a life that, well, hell yeah, we'll pay $1,000 for that. That's fine with me. And not many people will, and that's okay, because then we'll get more views on our videos, because not many people would buy the game if it were $1,000. So that works better for me too. So quite frankly, I mean, it's just a matter of delivering a quality product. I mean, $100 game, that's fine with me. If you're bitching about $100, you need to find a job right now. You still have potentially over a year until GTA 6 comes out. If you can't make $100 in over nearly 2 years, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that's crazy. So you shouldn't be complaining about the price point. You have plenty of time to save up for a PlayStation 5. You have plenty of time to save up for GTA 6 if the price even is at $100. I mean, there's just no excuses. You guys shouldn't be complaining about prices. This is a hobby that you don't get into unless you get the wallet out. It's as simple as that. But if you guys can't be bothered to get a job between now and when this game releases, then I don't want to hear you complain about GTA 6 price point, because that's not you can't get a job and get off the internet. It's as simple as that. And if you can't find a way to make money on the internet, then well, you failed. So maybe it's time to turn the lawnmower on, and it's time to figure that out. JC's coming through. That's what we're talking about. He says, Michael is the most based YouTuber critically because he cares. Yeah, that's why we're here, and that's why this show isn't popular, because no one wants to have this conversation. They don't want to sit here and have these conversations. They want to sit here and talk about, RTX, ray tracing, and all of these other stupid, silly things that really have no impact on gameplay, really don't matter at all. But it's a sad situation. Kingdom Come 2 was $80 and no one complained. I don't remember it being $80, but perhaps it was. I'm not sure. I don't think the game was $80. I don't care about that game. You don't understand. This game is big. This game is the Beatles of video games. Kingdom Come 2 is like an indie band that thinks they're the Beatles, but they're nowhere near as popular, yet they have a cult following. You have to understand that this game is bigger than video games itself. This game, I already told you, I said the guy that put the controller down 20 plus years ago and stopped gaming is getting back into gaming with Grand Theft Auto 6. The economy is going to be affected from Grand Theft Auto 6. No one's going to show up for work the next day because they're going to be playing the freaking game. It's as simple as that. And you can laugh at this and say you're fucking crazy, but it's like, no, I'm not. Stores are going to be not opening that day. Because a lot of people are going to be calling off. And, so the economy is going to be impacted because everyone's going to be calling sick and saying, no, we want to play GTA 6 instead of going to work. That's what's going to happen. You don't understand. This game is massive. It's going to be huge. But you don't. You just can't see that, so I can't explain that to you. Okay, what we're going to do, though, is we're going to switch to the AI here. I need you guys to lock in in a way that makes sense. We're going to switch to the AI here. And as we switch to the AI here, okay, we're going to ask the AI. It's going to do a deep search. Now, what this thing can do is actually kind of scary. I'm not lying. And I'll show you what it can do. And this obviously isn't that new. But this is just where AI is in February of 2025. Let's fast forward from 5 years from now. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just going to be unbelievable. But with that said, we're going to come over here to the AI, and we're going to click on the deep search. And what this does, from what I can understand, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seemingly searches the internet for you. Like it sends out a robot or something, and it searches the internet for you, which is kind of fucking crazy. But with that said, let's go ahead and do this here. I could be wrong on that, but it seems like, because it describes what it's doing, and it's making it seem like it's actually searching the internet for articles and things, sources and things like that. So it's a crazy thing, I'll tell you that. But we're going to go ahead and figure this out. So we need you to lock in. We're going to see if it can really... And someone's coming through! Michael Wilson is in the building!
Michael
No, we're not
Wilson
making a game.
super-chatted £5.
We're doing research.
I've already told my boss, the workplace should shut down on GTA release day. I feel physically sick knowing people will be in work on that day.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just, that's what we're talking about. Michael Wilson is coming through with a $5 super chat. That sun went in, and it's getting a little chillier out here. But nonetheless, we're going to come over to the AI. Michael Wilson is coming through with the 5. That's what we're talking about. And we have the deep search enabled. And what we're going to do is we're going to type in GTA. How many Rockstar game devs left the company since GTA 4? Let's see what this thing can really do here, because this is a tough one. And I'm not sure how good it is, but we're going to test it here. So we're going to say how many Rockstar game devs have left the company since GTA 4. And we're just going to hit enter, and we're going to see what it spits out. Maybe it's not what I'm looking for, but we're going to show you, hopefully, that well, it's a sad situation, but we're going to show you that a lot of game devs have left since GTA 4, and that's arguably one of the it's highly regarded. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and hit enter here. And it's thinking right now. It's going to do its thing. It's clarifying the request here. It says it's searching. So it's already searching. I guess it's literally searching the internet. I'm not sure how this thing works, but this is crazy. It's already searching all of these articles, all of these forums. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is the technology. This is the future that we're living in here. Unless it's lying, which it could be. I don't know. But it seems like it's actually... searching for me. It's doing all of that work. It's figuring it out in a way that makes sense. So we're going to go ahead and see here. And it's actually describing what it's thinking, too. This is kind of scary when you think about it, really. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and see if we can get some results here. It's already starting to pull up Laszlo Jones. And hopefully it gives us a list here. It's already found 10 results here. It went on Wikipedia. It went on RockstarGames.com. It went on all these other GTAFandom.com. It went on all these other websites. And it's trying to figure this out. It's trying to think it through here. We're waiting almost a minute here to get this answer. But if it's accurate, then that's what we're looking for. So here we go, folks. We need you to lock in. And we're hoping that we can get some results here. So here we go. It is estimating the departures here. It is figuring this out in a way that makes sense. We've been waiting 1 minute and 15 seconds. It says it's not confident about it. This is really scary, folks. It has feelings. It said it wasn't confident about the search. Fuck you mean? Thought we were talking to a robot here. It's assessing the studio sizes here. We're getting the deep search, folks. And we're going to see the list of people that have left and how this is going to potentially impact GTA 6. And it's calculating the final estimate. We might have to reword the question because that's not necessarily the answer. That I don't really need numbers. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for We're looking for kind of the key developers that left, but I guess we have to reframe our question here. So nonetheless, we're going to go get a bunch of word salad here. Holy shit, we're not reading all that. Dude! Yeah, there's a bunch of numbers on the screen. We're not looking for that. That's ridiculous. We got to reword the question. We didn't do it right. Yeah, we're not looking for numbers. That we didn't ask it the right question. It gave us some answers, but we're not looking for that. How many veteran? Well, maybe. How do we reword this here? Because it's going to spit out numbers again. I'm not looking for numbers. I'm looking for. I don't know how to ask it. See, that's the problem. You have to know how to utilize this thing in order to really. It's going to get to a point where, though, at some point it'll start reading your mind. You won't even have to ask it anything. I think when we get AI to the point where it's just kind of, it just kind of already knows what you're looking for without actually having to, input anything. I think that'll be crazy within the next 2 decades or so. We're going to try and figure this out. I don't know how to word this because it's going to put more numbers on the screen. I'm not looking for numbers. I'm looking for names. I'm looking for the key players, but we don't know how to word that. Who left Rockstar Games since the release of GTA 4? We're going to try and word it like that. We'll see. So who left Rockstar Games? And we'll go ahead and do another deep search here. GTA, since the release of GTA 4. The question is about counting Rockstar Games developers who left since GTA. Well, we don't want numbers. We want names. I want to see the key players that left, but if it's going to pop out names, then we don't. Yeah, I think it's still doing the name stuff. I don't know. So maybe we won't get our answer. Maybe the deep search is not what we're looking for here. Guys, we need you to lock in here. We're 250 days since GTA 6 Trailer 1. Oh, this might be too much thanking. It sucks waiting 13 years for the sequel, but what can you do? I'm sure it will be worth the wait. Yeah, well, if they delay the game, it's going to, it pushes the expectations higher. So you run that risk of saying, well, they push the game into a certain position. And here we go. I think we're going to get the answer here. We're going to have to reword this probably again. No, it's actually no. Here we go. It's getting names. I think we're figuring this out here. And we're seeing still a lot of numbers here. So it's going to break down the results here. It's going to break it down here, breaking down the credits here. Yeah, we're not looking for numbers. I don't know why it's putting numbers on the screen. We're not looking for numbers, homie. We're looking. We're looking for the. We're looking to see if the roster has changed here. We're not looking for numbers. This is crazy. Okay, key points here. Key points here. Hold on. There's a bunch of holy shit. It never ends. It never. It's just numbers on the screen, homie. I ain't reading that shit. The fuck. Yeah, it's a bunch of numbers. We didn't word it right. It's still on that number stuff. I don't know how to. Let's go ahead and hit. Let's go ahead and just turn that off. That deep search stuff. Who are the key developers that left at Rockstar Games? So let's try it this way, and maybe with that in mind, it'll since GTA 4, and then it should give us a list. Make a chart with names. Simple. You got to know how to really work this thing. And so who are the key developers that left at Rockstar Games since GTA 4? And let's see what it does here with that information in mind. And it's still going to search here. Okay, simple chart. Here we go. This is what we're looking for. Okay, Jamie King, this is what it says, left shortly before GTA 4's release. Leslie Benzies, key figure, and we know Leslie Benzies is putting out his GTA clone game or whatever that's called, Mind Sai, or whatever that's called in the summer of this year. So I think he's gonna come out full steam ahead with that. We're gonna check that out. So Leslie Benzies, key figure in the development of GTA titles, including GTA 4 and 5, departed. Dan Houser, major creative force behind GTA 4, 5, and other Rockstar titles. Laszlo Jones, longtime contributor by GTA's radio content and writing, left after nearly 2 decades. Michael Unsworth, senior writer for GTA 4, GTA 5, and Red Dead Redemption series, departed after 16 years. And they're still missing names. I mean, we so the AI still can't do better research than the human, but because they're still missing names. I mean, it's a sad situation. But the new Rockstar, and you'll see this when GTA 6 comes out, whenever it does come out, you can find more people that left. I mean, the 3 creative directors, the technical directors, they're all gone too. And people are going to sit there and say that that's not going to have an impact, but it will have an impact. I mean, GTA, you're going to have another Avowed situation, and maybe not that extreme, but you're going to have another Avowed situation where you say, well, the Obsidian that I grew up with, the Obsidian that made great games like Fallout New Vegas and things like that, that era of when they were putting out those games, that's no longer the Obsidian of today. And I think that's going to be the realization for a lot of these fanboys that think that Rockstar is the best in the world. And surely they are to certain extents, but GTA 6 is going to probably impress on a lot of avenues, but at the same time, I think you're going to see the changes, and I think you're going to see the changes that necessarily aren't maybe what some people want to see, and I think that will come to fruition when the final product shows. And I think you're going to see a sanitized version of previous GTA games that were a little bit more raunchy and edgy, and I think you're going to see censorship, and I think you're going to see mechanics and features that were no longer in the game. And I think these people are going to, these grifters, I'm telling you, man, you want to make some big money with this, this is going to be a jackpot. This game's going to change people's lives in terms of content creation, streaming, making videos, things like that. I mean, you'll be able to pump out so many videos with this game, and once they find out that this certain feature is removed in GTA 6, that's going to get like 20 million views, and it's going to start a massive conversation, and everyone's got a big opinion on it and all of this stuff. But because we saw that with all of these other games, I mean, I had over 1.1 million views on a fucking Avowed, and people were defending that game and saying, they were literally defending it and saying that, well, that's not necessary, you don't need to be able to go and interact with the NPCs within the world. And it's like, okay, well, if that's really what you guys think and believe, well, that's, no wonder why the gaming industry is so dead. You guys don't want any interaction. You don't want any interactivity. You just want the same old garbage, and you're just going to excuse garbage. And that's okay, but, that's why the gaming industry is in shambles, because these people are not clamoring for quality. They're not clamoring for anything above and beyond. They're just sitting there and they're saying, it's the same old slop. Fallout New Vegas, you can take out all of the NPCs. You can break the whole game pretty much, right? I mean, with exceptions, I believe, but you can't do that in Avowed, but it doesn't matter because, well, it's a different game. That's what they're saying. And it's like, well, what about this technology? The PlayStation 3 had 256 megabytes of RAM. Fallout 3 is on, not Fallout, well, Fallout 3 is as well. But Fallout New Vegas is on the PS3, and obviously that's not the version to play. But 512 megabytes of RAM for the Xbox 360. So tell me when hardware mattered, because obviously it didn't matter back in the day. This fascination of hardware within literally the last 10 years, if not sooner than that, the last 5 or 6 years, is crazy to me. It's a weird phenomenon. You guys played all of your PS4 games at 30 frames, barely 1080p, if that, and you love them, and they got Game of the Year, and they got medals on all these websites. They got green on Metacritic, 90 plus and above on Metacritic. The first God of War that came out in 2018, that didn't run at 60 frames on the PS4. You might have forgotten that. But that was probably, 720p 30, 1080p 30, if that? I mean, okay, well, that didn't matter then. Literally the millions and millions of people that played that, they said it was the masterpiece. It was a masterpiece. God of War 2018 was a masterpiece. Well, guess what? That game didn't run at 60 frames when it came out day one, because it was only available on PlayStation 4. And, well, I guess the PlayStation 4 Pro might have had an upper hand, but I don't believe that was at 60 even. Maybe it was. I don't believe it was, because that wasn't really a priority back then to have these games always running at 60. Now that's a gimmick. It's just, the game's at 60, therefore it's great. And it's like, well, maybe in a competitive atmosphere, maybe in an online atmosphere, that makes the most sense to have more frames on the screen. But quite frankly, if you're doing a story game, we don't need any more than that. And that's another conversation with this game. I saw someone put out a video that got over 2 million views talking about how this is going to be 30 frames. And the gamers couldn't handle that. They wanted their 60 frames, and they said more frames equals better. That's not what that means, okay? This game doesn't need to be 60 frames. I will defend that. This game can be 30, and in fact, this game could be 1080p 30. I would rather take 1080p 30. I don't need 1440p. I don't need 4K. I need 1080p 30 locked. And I need every interior enterable. That, to me, is more appealing than saying, okay, we have this game running at 4K 30. We have this game running, but we're also cutting things, and we're cutting, we're making compromises so that the game runs more fluently, and that's ridiculous. So you're prioritizing more frames on the screen for less immersion and interaction. That's ridiculous. That's unbelievable. That's insane to me. But that's the nature of these gamers today. They want more frames so that they can argue that their 5090 was a great purchase. You're an idiot if you bought the new NVIDIA cards. Simple as that. I mean, unless you're doing production stuff, you're an idiot, because apparently the games run worse. I'm not sure. Especially if you have Physics X turned on. I saw a video where they played Mafia 2, and it was running at like literally abysmal frame rates. So there's something wrong there, obviously. And, maybe they'll fix that. But imagine buying a 5090, a $2,000 GPU, and then it runs worse than the previous generation. Like, that's insane to me. That's just absolutely insanity. But at this point, by the time GTA 6 comes out to PC, you'll have to upgrade again. The 60 series will be out. So literally the 60 series will be out in 2 years. 2 or 3 years. So you might as well just wait. I mean, for GTA 6 anyway, because the 50 series GTA 6 is not going to be on the 50 series unless Rockstar changes their game plan. I would hope that they would wait as long as possible on GTA 6 to put it out on PC, because quite frankly, that's a terrible idea to put this game out on PC. It's not a great idea to open it up like that, and it'll ruin the essence of the game. It really will, because these modders, that's what they do. They mod. They don't play games, they mod. And they feel like it's their right once they put their money down and they buy this game, even though they don't own it. They don't understand that. But they think it's their right to take something that they didn't create and really just graffiti it pretty much. It's a sad situation. It really is. But that's the entitlement of gamers, that they think that they own everything, and they think it's theirs, and they think it's their right to go in. And it's like, there's literal human beings that worked on this game for 5+ years, 6+ years, and they devoted their entire, they devoted a lot of time. They devoted a lot of man hours and energy, and they made sacrifices in their personal life, and only for you to go in and say, no, it's my game, I bought it, and therefore I'm going to put Barney the fucking dinosaur in it. I'm going to put fucking the Macho Man Randy Savage in it. I'm going to, do this, that, and the third. And it's like, this is cringe. Like, I think modding altogether should be banned unless it's a creative sandbox game. I think Gmod or whatever that's called, I think that makes sense, but that's a game that's made for that, right? That's a playground where you can just go in and you can do whatever you want. You can make whatever you want. That makes the most sense. But when you're making a game like The Last of Us, or you're making a game like a Sony movie game, God of War, Days Gone, or things like that's an experience that the developers wanted you to experience. And when you have to go in and mod it to your liking and turn it into the fucking Walking Dead because we would rather play as Daryl Dixon, you've already compromised their vision. You bought the game, so therefore you want to put Daryl Dixon in the game. Well, Daryl Dixon isn't in the game. You should make your own game with Daryl Dixon. How about that? I mean, it's ridiculous. If I put 10 years of my life into making something only for someone to come in and say, no, we're going to do it better, like, that's a spit in the face to everything that I put into it. So I don't agree. I don't agree with modding. And that's why I think this game should not be on PC. They shouldn't be putting this garbage. They shouldn't be putting this crap on PC. Well, if the game's trash, then yeah, go ahead and give it to the PC gamers. But if the game is great, we want it on console only, so that way it's a little bit more locked down, and, that way you don't have people going through the source files and all of that crap. It's still going to happen, but, well, not the source files, but, the data mining and all of that weird bullshit that these people do, because they have no life. I mean, it's just a sad situation. You didn't have this problem back in the 80s on the Super Nintendo. I mean, you really just didn't. You know, that was all analog technology and stuff like that.
Jack Bitten super.
That's what we're talking about. Jack Bitten's coming through yet again.
I also think the work from home period did not help, and devs seemed reluctant to go back to the office. They don't believe in crunch now.
Yeah, and that's why this game is. That's why they haven't pulled the curtain back, and no one wants to talk about that. Last year we heard that the devs did not want to go back to the office, and for some reason no one cares. By the way, and it's like I don't understand. That was the delay confirmation, or at least the point where it's like, okay, well, now that's going to muck things up, right? When the developers don't want to go back to the office, and Rockstar is saying, hey, we're doing mandatory work from home is over, and you have some devs barking up against that, there's obviously going to be a clash there, and as such, that is going to affect the schedule of the game. Now, you know, they could potentially crunch at the very end here to get it out, but if that costed them 2 months of development time, then there's 2 months right there that they're going to have to make up, that they're going to have to try and make up. And I don't necessarily know if that's the case. So it's a sad situation, but we saw the delay confirmation. We saw the delay confirmation pretty much last year, but no one wants to talk about that for some reason, which is kind of odd to me. It doesn't really make much sense how no one wants to talk about that, and how that had an impact on the development of this game, which it obviously did. What are the devs even doing right now as we speak? I'm assuming they're working on the game. I would certainly hope that they're working on the game. Work from home might be enough for shit like programming only, but it sure ain't enough for all the aspects of a game has. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know. The reason why a lot of these games are terrible is because they have teams, they have too many people working on these games. They have too many people working on these games, and it's a problem. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, and not only that, but you have all of these different cooks in the kitchen, and they're not in the same kitchen. So how is everyone come out with the same dish in a cohesive manner when this chef over here is saying, well, maybe that's not where it needs to be? So it just it doesn't make much sense, but that's why games are in the shape that they're in, because there's too many cooks in the kitchen. And not only that, but more importantly, the kitchen isn't. The kitchen is, there's multiple kitchens. So there's multiple kitchens. Are we lagging here? It seems like there's a little bit of a technical issue happening here. Are we lagging here? Looks like we're lagging here. We need you guys to wake up in here, folks. I don't know what to tell you. I think we're lagging here. I don't know if that's going to stop or if that's going to continue, but it's getting annoying at this point. It's getting a little chillier out here. We have the sun, but now we don't have the sun, and it's getting a little bit chillier out here. We need you guys to start locking in. And in a way that makes sense, let's go to one of the chat. Let's go ahead and hit that like button. I think we're getting view botted here. I don't think there's 400 people in here. I think that's fake. Let me go ahead and double check here. Let's see this chart here, the viewer chart. Maybe we do have 400 viewers. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Yeah, it is lagging. It's lagging on my end, but I don't know how to fix that. I don't know if it can keep up. I mean, the GTA 6 radio. Alberto, homie. Alberto, homie, specialty meats. Contains soy. Dude, Contains soy. Since 1918, by the way. This is the end of Red Dead Redemption 1, isn't it? There's a rumor that DJ Khaled will have his own radio station. I don't know who that is. Who's DJ Khaled? Who the fuck's that? Who the fuck is DJ Khaled? And they've already had celebrities in GTA 5 do the radio station. That's not new. Hey there, mister. Who let the simpleton out of the asylum? That's what I'm saying. They've already had celebrities on the radio. I don't know why these fake gamers are hyping that up. Okay, well, if they have DJ Khaled, that's not really news. They might have Joe Rogan on the radio, though, because Laszlo Jones is no longer at Rockstar. So what they'll do is probably just hire Joe Rogan to be on GTA 6. Because they can't certainly come up with their own character. That's just a lot of work. So they'll just hire celebrities to be in the game. It'll just be like this big thing where no, I don't know who DJ Khaled is. I mean, I'm assuming he helped Kanye or something. I don't know. If you showed me a picture of him, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know who it is. That's an L take. I'm not going to read the comment, but that's an L take. Since 1918, we've been making our specialty meats the same way our founder, Constantino Alberto, did. We emphasize quality, flavor, and a relentless desire to be better every day. What does that mean? Wood smoked, by the way. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Jesus fucking Christ. Plague Rock 3 again. It's too much content. You guys are slowing down the chat. We were reading the chat while we were consuming, and quite frankly, the chat was a little too slow. It's getting a little bit chillier out here. The sun only stayed out for the hell is that smell? The sun only stayed out for a little bit. It's getting chillier out here. But we need you guys to start locking in. 450 days since GTA 6, and you guys don't have anything to discuss. Well, that's why this game isn't coming. That's why there is no trailer 2, because you guys can't figure out what to talk about. Why would they put it out? Why would they put it out? I mean, quite frankly, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they put it out if you have nothing to say? Oh, it's GTA 6. We'll buy it when it comes out, but we have nothing to say. I think that's crazy. I got a lot to talk about. We're waiting for an audience that wants to actually listen instead of it going in one ear and out the other. So you let me know when that opportunity comes, and then we'll start talking about GTA 6. Because I've already said a lot today, and you guys, just went in one ear and out the other. But if Asmund Gold said the same thing, you guys would be, oh, yeah. Oh, good point. No problem there. But, world class, a little bit edgier, a little bit more abrasive content, and you can't handle it because it's got to be spoon-fed to you. Can't support it. You can't hit the like button. Can't share the broadcast. I mean, it's crazy. Certainly can't afford GTA 6 when this comes out for $100 in 2026. And quite frankly, if they do delay the game, quite frankly, the 2026 makes more sense because that's what we're talking about. Dragon Ball Z's coming through. We're going to stand up for this one. Dragon Ball Z's coming through. That's what we're talking about, homie.
$4.99. Macal eating his jerky in a way that makes sense.
That's what we're talking about. It's what we love to see. Dragon Ball Z coming through, and in a way that makes sense. With the $5 super chat, you love to see a Dragon Ball Z in the building and coming through. And that's what we're talking about, coming through in a way that makes sense. Yeah, we had a little intermission there so that you guys could get your popcorn and you guys could settle down. And we had our little intermission, but the chat wasn't talking. Now the chat's moving really quickly because Dragon Ball Z came through, and that's what we're talking about, So let me get you that Kamehameha because you came through and supported the show. You came through in a way that made sense. So we're going to go ahead and get you that Kamehameha. I need you to listen, and I need you to lock in. Kamehameha! Imagine being 40 years old and watching Dragon Ball Z. That could never be me, but it could be you. No, I don't watch anime. I used to watch anime, but that's when it was on Cartoon Network. I'm not watching anime. If you're watching anime past the age of 30, then you're probably a loser. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but and I mean, look, if you watch it and you like it, that's fantastic. But that just could never be me. We're not watching anime. That's crazy. We're not watching Dragon Ball, whatever the fuck it's called these days. We're not playing these anime Japanese games. We're not playing these JRPGs. It's all garbage. It's all junk. GTA 6 date retracted. It was never originally. That's what I'm saying. I saw the title. Yeah, I saw that title. Well, people clickbait all the time. I mean, I don't. Yeah, there was no release date. There's a fake Photoshop thing of trailer 2 coming out on the 28th or something like that, but that's all bullshit. Of course it's not coming out. I mean, we don't know, but Rockstar hasn't officially announced anything. That's the news. The news is that there's no news of this game, and there hasn't been for 450 days, nearly. So I don't know where anyone should be talking about this game at all, unless it's purely from a speculation standpoint or people just talking for fun. But there's no news of this game. There hasn't been since 450 days. I mean, yeah, you could talk about the Take-Two stuff, but I'm talking about directly from Rockstar. The general public, if your grandma knows of GTA 6, let me just say this. She doesn't know that it's slated to come fall 2025. She just knows that it's coming 2025 because that's what Trailer 1 shows. Trailer 1 does not show that it's supposedly coming out in fall of 2025. So where that came from, I have no idea. Well, obviously it came from Take-Two, but where they heard that from, well, I guess Rockstar said that, but they don't have that in any of the marketing. Nowhere on the website does it say coming in fall of 2025. So I'm not really even sure where the hell that came from. And it sounds like it came from their ass. Because what did the Take-Two guy do? Like go and ask Sam Houser, like, hey, when's your game coming out? Oh, yeah, fall 2025. Okay, buddy. Like, where they got that, I have no idea. Because it's not even coming out then anyway. Like, there's a cutoff point, and the cutoff point is emerging quickly. If you don't have a trailer 2 by May, it's over. May 1st. That's the cutoff point, bud. And even that, to put out a game of this size and magnitude, I already said earlier, I said the marketing has to be stronger this time around because they have to combat all the fake AI bullshit that fools everyone, right? You didn't have this problem back in 2013 when GTA 5 came out. When you saw, I mean, there was fake stuff, but it was obvious it was fake. Like, the AI stuff is like crazy. Some of the AI stuff people will just believe and say, wow, that's GTA 6. And they might look at it and they might have a negative impression of it, and that might actually impact sales. So you run into this problem where it's like you're fighting up against AI. What's the game? What does it actually look like? And you have to make that presence known. So when they start marketing this game really hard, they have to go in as hard as they ever have. There has to be billboards out. There has to be commercials on television. There has to be. I mean, it just has to. It has to be a marketing blitz because they're going up against the AI stuff, and that stuff's only getting better. So when you have these fake screenshots of Lucia holding an alligator or some shit, it's like, well, that's not from Trailer 1, but to the untrained eye that isn't on the internet all day, they might scroll past that on their phone and think, oh shit, Rockstar put out a new trailer. The amount of misinformation is fucking crazy. And fake screenshots and fake videos and fake leaks and fake this and fake that. It's all fake. It's all bullshit. So Rockstar has to combat that and say, this is the real deal. This is what our game actually looks like. And this is trailer 2. And the marketing has to go hard. So even if they are waiting, and let's presume that the game is coming out this year, fall 2025, the marketing has to go very hard and very strong for the remainder of this year, starting very, very soon. Because that's what has to happen. They can't just magically pull it out of their ass and say, well, the game is coming. That's not how that works. Everything has to be prepared for, many, many months before it actually happens. They're not just going to go and say, hey, I don't think that's how that works. I think there's a lot more that goes into it. And if things aren't happening soon, then there's no way this game is coming out. They have to market the game. They can't just surprise drop the game and say, here it is, guys. It's October of 2025. I'm going to laugh if we're in October and there's still nothing from this game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm assuming by then they would have a delay announcement, but who the fuck knows? They could wait until December to delay this game. There's really no rush. The general public doesn't know about fall 2025 as the release window because, again, the marketing shows coming in 2025. It says coming 2025. It doesn't say fall 2025. The only people that know about that are people that follow this whole GTA 6 bubble and are in that, discussion. So very few people know that it's coming in fall of 2025 unless you're in the little video game bubble discussion. And most people aren't. The money that this is going to make is from the normies. The internet darling crowd, they're not buying this game. They're buying Black Myth Wukong 2 over this fucking game. That's what they would rather buy. They would rather buy Elden Ring 2 over this game. But that's okay because those games pale in comparison to this game, at least in terms of sales. And quality, too. I mean, even if this game is trash, like, ain't nobody playing those fucking... Like you don't understand. Like this game is going to destroy everything in its way. That you don't understand. You come back in a year or so from now, and maybe when we have more information on the game, and maybe the game's already out, who knows, but once it becomes a reality that this is actually coming, whenever it is, I mean, you'll start to understand the ripple effect this game will have. And it might not be good for some publishers. They're going to put out a game, they're going to put millions and hundreds of millions of dollars into their game, and only for it to fail because of the magnitude of success that GTA 6 has. And it might not even be in the same genre. It could be a totally different game. It could be a JRPG for all we know. But there's gonna be one game that comes out at an unfortunate time. And even after this comes out, you don't want to put your game out after this unless it's a few years after, because you're really just screwed. You have to put your game out before. You have to put it out before GTA 6 because GTA 6 is a live service game. GTA 6 is going to have that big online moment too, which isn't probably coming day one if I had to guess, and just much more. So you have to put your game out, I would argue, before GTA 6. Because if you put it out after, I mean, yeah, you could maybe wait until the hype for GTA 6 dies down, but that's going to be a long time. And we're talking about a totally different gaming industry than what it was at in 2013. You don't have that many releases that come out. These games take 20 plus years to make, 10 plus years to make rather, and it's ridiculous. So you can't wait for the next big game because it's going to take another 5 or 6, 7 years to put it out. So you only have GTA 6, and that's what's going to be the big thing. It will change the industry. That's what I'm talking about. GTA 6 will sell like hot cookies. We're not covering Monster Hunter Wilds. We're not playing that garbage. That could never be me. It's not happening. Now, if Capcom wanted to sponsor the stream, well, we'll take a look at it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not going out of my way to play this Japanese boss fight game. Like, I've already played those. They're a dime a dozen. It's garbage. I'm not playing that crap. I'll play a new Resident Evil though. That's fine with me. I'm more into Resident Evil and zombies and survival horror and things like that. But I'm not playing a fantasy game where you have a sword and it's like 400 feet tall and you got creatures that you have to chop the tentacles off of. Like, that's all cringe to me. I'm not playing that crap. I'm not into fantasy, and I'm especially not into Japanese RPGs. Like, that is not my thing. And that's evident because I don't, I got hundreds of videos on my channel, youtube.com/MichaelDoesLive, and very seldom do we make a video on a fantasy RPG game. Like, you won't find many videos where I've made, because I didn't care. I don't care about the new Final Fantasy. I don't care about Monster Hunter. I don't care about this fantasy crap. You guys got fantasy. Go play Clash Royale or something. I mean, Jesus. We're not playing it. Seeing trailer GTA 6 trailer 2 is set on the 30th of February. That's fake news. That's fake news. Someone made a photo. That's all it took for you guys to believe that? And then they just started sharing it because they wanted it to be true. So that's what happened. They put out a Photoshop and they said, oh, trailer 2 is coming out very soon and it looks official. And then everyone started sharing it and saying, oh, shit, trailer 2's coming. And Rockstar didn't say that. Like, y'all are down real bad. Like, when did Rockstar come out of the woodwork and say that trailer 2 is coming? You should go to the Rockstar website and look there first and before you get information on this game. That's the problem with this game, is that Rockstar has to put – the game has to be $2 billion because they have to put $500+ million into marketing alone. You have to combat the wave of AI and misinformation, and that's a very tricky situation because the AI is getting more realistic. I've seen fake games – I've seen fake screenshots of this game, and it looks legitimate, especially if you're on your phone. Like, if you're not zooming in – it looks legitimate. It's got the same style of graphics and everything, and it looks cool. I mean, but if you're passing those off as GTA 6 official screenshots, that's not the case. That's not true. So Rockstar has to combat that and say, no, this is what Jason and Lucia really look like. And there's so much just from one trailer. People are already getting tattoos of Jason and Lucia, and it's like, that's insanity to me. That's insanity to me. 30th of February, by the way. February 28th. Avowed is literally better than Monster Hunter. Oh, man. Yeah, I played Avowed. Okay, I played Avowed. And guess what? My coverage got over 1.1 million views. Not on YouTube, but I showed that the I showed that the NPCs don't react to a grenade. I mean, it's ridiculous. How can you defend that? Like the game shouldn't be open world if it's that bad. That's insanity to me, how you have an open world game with NPCs and they don't react to anything that you do. It makes it feel It makes it just feel so hollow and plastic. I mean, it just doesn't feel real. It's crazy. Why is it a disaster? Because they haven't talked about the game in 450 days. How is that hard to understand? They haven't talked about the game. I know what's causing the lag here. It's this YouTube fucking... They need AI to fix that. That bogs down the resources. It doesn't matter what you're doing. That bogs down the resources. And it always crashes, too. The YouTube chat, it always crashes. I don't know what's going on. That's what's causing the lag. I just figured it out. Assassin's Creed Shadow. Yeah, the game is not looking too good, but I think the shield campaign for it will be pretty strong. I think the shield campaign for Assassin's Creed Shadows will be pretty strong. I think they're doing it on purpose, where they're saying, well, Assassin's Creed Shadows doesn't look too good, but then they'll turn around and do the 180 and say, oh, I was so surprised by Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it's like, nah, that was a part of the script, bud. You weren't surprised by the game. You played it already. Because there's a few reviewers that did that, but they did it in the opposite way. Like they went to these preview events for another game. I think it was Saints Row. I think the new Saints Row, actually, if you go back, there were some big reviewers that went to the Saints Row. They got early access to the new Saints Row, and they were being quite positive, actually. And then the game came out and they trashed it. So the only reason why they were positive was because they wanted to retain their access to they can get a review code. But then when the game came out, they realized that, well, we can't say the game is good because that doesn't align with the general consensus, and you have to be a sheep in order to be successful. You can't think like yourself. They don't like that. So you have to sit and you have to form a line, and people have to start following, because that's what you can't think for yourself. You can't think independently. I mean, you have to really just go against. You can't go against the grain, not because you don't want to out of spite, but because you might have something. You might have a different perspective, but that's not a welcome, or that's not allowed. So really, you just have to say the game is great. If everyone else says the game is great, you have to say the same thing. Now you could criticize it, but you have to keep it within that style of the game is still great. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. You're not allowed to have an opinion. It's as fake as it gets. The whole damn review culture on YouTube is for gaming. And pretty much for everything else. But for gaming specifically, it's all bullshit. You guys follow these big reviewers. They're all full of shit. They're all fake. They're all in it for the money. They're all in it for whatever other reasons. But they're not genuine. They're not. The reason why they're not genuine is because they're backed by corporate. They get sponsorships. So they have to toe the line in that sense. They can't say certain words. They can't do certain things. And then on top of that, they get early access to these games. Now, let me just tell you this. If I got early access to Assassin's Creed Shadows, do you really think I would come on here and say the game is absolute shit? Because I ask you, what position is that going to put me in if I come out and say, okay, I played it early and it was absolute garbage, worst Ubisoft game of all time. If Ubisoft came to me and they said, hey, we want you to play Assassin's Creed Shadows early, what am I going to do? Come back and say I hated the game? What is that? What am I going to gain from that experience? Literally nothing. But if I say the game is great, I'll continue to get early access for future Ubisoft titles. That's how the game works. It's a big old red carpet club full of losers on that red carpet club. I don't watch these reviewers because once they're spoon-fed these games, they're part of the shill campaign essentially. That's all it is. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. You should watch reviewers that have to buy their games I think really that's what it boils down to. And there's not many of those reviewers left. There's not many reviewers that have to buy their own games. Because why would you buy it when you can get it for free and get more perks on top of that by just saying it's fantastic? I mean, honestly. So they're basic. It's turned into QVC. It's turned into QVC. It's turned into Billy Mays. Except they're not as entertaining as Billy Mays. Billy Mays could sell you anything, and he was actually entertaining. But these losers on here are fucking losers, and they yap for 30 minutes. And it's like, why are you making videos that are 35 minutes long, 25 minutes long, 15 minutes long, and you're just yapping? Like, who's really watching this? Like, sometimes I actually wonder. It's like, is there anyone like that's actually a human being that's watching this shit? Because it's like, who's sitting through this? Like, you have to be bored out of your skull or have no life to sit here and watch this multi-millionaire yap about garbage, word salad junk that no one's listening to. It's not entertaining. He's got no charisma, and yet this motherfucker pulls in like 100,000 views each video, and it's like the most generic fucking content in the world. Never will I insult the viewer's intelligence by making a 15-long-minute video unless we have 15 minutes worth of content that matches the time frame of that video. I'm not going to sit here and yap. That's why I do streams, because we'll yap on the streams, but it's a stream. It's a different format. But I would never put out a video like this where we're yapping for 15 minutes because no one's watching that shit. But they love it. I mean, they love watching all these other successful YouTubers yap, and they got all these fancy lights behind them, and their NVIDIA GPU behind them, and all this crap. And it's like it's unbelievable. I think there's only about 2 or 3 game reviewers that actually don't get early access or review codes, and those are the people that you have to. Because when I got review codes, I felt bad about saying bad things about the game because it's like, well. You know, they went out of their way to say, yeah, we want to send you an early access code, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, not trying to be mean, but yeah, maybe the game isn't good, but at the same time, it's like, well, we kind of have to sugarcoat it, unfortunately. So it's like you have to pick what you want to do. Do you want to be a part of the the show campaign, essentially an extension of that, or do you want to keep your credibility and build an independent little community that supports you? Because that's what you're going to have to do, because you're not going to get backed by any of those people if you say the game is trash. It's as simple as that. They want yes men, and if you're not a yes man, you're not inviting you back. It's seriously that simple. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you can't when these reviewers come across as like, oh yeah, because these people have high egos, I guarantee. But when they come out of the woodwork and say that they're this credible game reviewer, and it's like, okay, but are you buying your game? Are you buying your game with your own money? Oh no, they're sending you early access codes. Yeah, I'm not watching you. Like, because I already know I already know how that entails. So I don't care about this guy's opinion on the game. It's not a genuine opinion. It's not a genuine opinion. And I'm not saying they have to hate on the games, but if I came away and I said this game was fantastic, I mean, RTX 5090 will run GTA 6 at 5 frames. Black Flag. Okay, well, the chat's totally dead here. We're going to think about wrapping this up maybe within the next few minutes. You guys lose energy. Could never be me. Yeah, we're going to have to wrap it up because you guys can't handle it. We've already been live for 2 hours almost. That's plenty of content. You guys already had a 2-hour podcast stream here. And you guys just can't handle it. Got nothing to say. Unbelievable. Oh. Same old, every single motherfucking year. 5+ years of sitting on this fucking bench, and it's the same dead chat. Motherfucking ass. Holy shit. But if Asmongold did this, it'd be the fucking greatest thing in existence, Asmongold comes out here, holy shit, this Twitch streamer streaming outside. Like, yeah, we've never seen that before because them losers can't get out of their fucking basement. Them multimillionaires can't get out of their basement because they love to sit in their basement and their shit and just, do nothing. They couldn't be bothered to get outside. Because you guys can't resonate with the outside outdoors either. You're like, what's a fucking tree? You've never seen that before in your life. You saw it in a video game, and you're like, great texture. But you never seen one in real life. You don't know that that's a living, breathing organism. It just could never be you because you're so used to the pixels and you're so used to the fakeness of a video game that you don't understand the real world. You're making a game in Construct 2 right now? Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Kingdom Come 2 win Game of the Year? Oh, Lord. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because it's not a popular game. The hype has already fallen off a cliff with that one. My Avowed coverage did 10 times the amount of views. Well, I don't know about that number, but it did way better than any Kingdom Come 2 stuff. I think that speaks volumes. So more people were interested in Avowed and at least the conversation surrounding Avowed than they were talking about Kingdom Come 2. Make GTA 6 before GTA 6? Well, I can make trailer 2 before GTA 6. I don't know about a whole game, but because the AI is not that good. But we can make a trailer 2 before GTA 6. I think that'll be we could do that. We can make a trailer 2. Well, the reason why they can't handle this is because it's not a topical topic. But if Rockstar came out and officially announced something, everyone would be jumping on. And I told you this is just what happened during the Take-Two call that we covered. When was it? Last month or whenever it was, earlier this month, I think. The Take-Two call, and all of these articles started coming out. Oh, GTA 6 is not delayed. GTA 6 is not delayed. It's still coming out fall of 2025. They reassured us that. And it's like, okay, they said the same thing that they've been saying. They haven't told us anything new. How can you sit there and act like that's a confirmation when Rockstar's not even barking? Take-Two's going to say what they have to say and what they've last heard. But, what's really happening inside of Rockstar Games and where are they at with this game? And have they hit some roadblocks? Is it in developmental hell? Is it really coming in fall of 2025? I mean, we've got so many questions. It's not even funny. But with that said, we don't know. So until Rockstar Games pulls the curtain back and really what they're doing, there will be more than likely a delay announcement for this game. And I think that's what people need to prepare for. The delay announcement and the expectation of this game not releasing this year and this game being pushed into maybe spring of 2026 or beyond that. And when you can get over that hump and just accept it now, that way when the official announcement does come, if it does, you won't be disappointed. You won't be as disappointed because you will come to the realization that, well, you already knew that the game was, you already thought that the game was going to be delayed. So you came out of the woodwork and you said, okay, well, the game is already delayed. It's not necessarily big news because you already had that pretty much figured out. And that's where we're at right now. There's no possibility that this game, as we especially head into March and as the year just keeps on ticking by, I mean, there's no way that this game is coming out this year. It is absolutely insanity to me how people believe that this game is coming out this year and how Rockstar is just going to somehow just drop this game with like very minimal marketing and saying, well, the game doesn't need marketing because I'm an expert on marketing and I sit in my basement all day and all night. And it's like, yeah, you don't know anything about marketing, bud. You don't know anything about marketing. It's unbelievable. It's crazy. You live 30 minutes away from where they're making GTA 6. If you live, go ask for trailer 2. It's a sad situation. Is there a game that you didn't say that's trash? Yeah, there's plenty of games where we like, but you don't, for some reason, listen. And I'm not going to put out a video on my top 5 games because no one's going to watch that. It'll get 200 views. I'm not putting out videos that have 200 views. 2,000 views is bad enough. We should have 10,000 minimum views on every video, but we can't be bothered to get views on YouTube because this platform is just so terrible. But I will tell you that, we just put out our Avowed coverage on Twitter, and it got over 1.1 million views. So it's not my fault. This platform is so terrible. We got tuberculosis coming through. That's what we're talking about. Tubby coming through. Big Tub coming through. Big Tub coming through. Oh, you walked by their office? Well, from what I understand, they make the trailer. They make the trailer in America. They don't. They don't do the marketing stuff They do it in New York. They do the marketing and all of that stuff in New York, and that's where the trailers get made. They get made in New York, I believe. It's getting chilly out here, folks. We need you guys to lock in. I need you guys. I think this game should have COVID. Okay, I think the game should have COVID-19. I think we have a coronavirus mechanic in the game. I think you need to put the face mask on. I'm not even trolling. I need a twist with this game, and I need a game with COVID. Like, I need a game where you have to put the mask on and walk in, and it's just like, we haven't seen that before in a video game outside of that one that I played, and I thought, you know what? If they can put it in here, put it in GTA 6. We need COVID in GTA 6. We need all of those mechanics to come in for at least one chapter in the game. One chapter in the game, kind of like Tahiti in Red Dead 2, where you go to Tahiti and you go off of the boat and all that bullshit. Okay, well, let's do a little spin on because this game doesn't take place in the 80s. It takes place in modern times, right? So with that said, there should be a chapter that takes place during COVID, and they have the mask mechanics and all of that stuff. I think that'll be very interesting, to say the least. And you have the built-in controversy surrounding it, so you have all of that stuff. Social distancing, vax passes, angry neighbor. That's what I'm saying. I think one chapter, that's all I'm asking. One chapter, coronavirus, maybe it's a flashback sequence or something, and maybe that's how Jason and Lucia meet or something. I mean, you have to bring these characters together. They're not just going to magically be together. You have to show that, right? Unless that's the DLC or something, but I don't think they're not going to do DLC for this game. Why would they do that? They didn't do it last time for GTA 5. They didn't do it for Red Dead 2 either, so they're not doing DLC, but that's a thing of the past. But so you have to show these characters. Well, I guess you don't have to show them come together. I mean, but it would be interesting to at least showcase some aspects of that. I'm yapping? Yeah, that's what people do on streams. They yap. I'm sorry that you're watching other people that don't yap, but go watch Kai Cenat. Go watch Kai Cenat. He's playing Batman Arkham fucking Knight. You can go watch him yap and play that Batman Arkham game. Oh, those games are terrible. Those games are terrible. I don't know how you guys played those back in the day and thought that those were good. I watched Kai Cenat play a little bit of all of them. I watched him play Arkham City. That looked even worse than Arkham Asylum. I watched Kai play Arkham Origins. That looked abysmal. It's the same crap. You go through the vents still in that game. Like, yikes. Maybe Arkham Knight is the only one that's actually, not great, but I think Arkham Knight's the only one that's okay. Because the graphics hold up more than the other ones, obviously, and you can ride the Batmobile. So it's a more complete Batman, a more cohesive Batman experience, because you can at least ride the Batmobile in Batman Arkham Knight. You can't even in the other games. And they refined, I think Batman Arkham Knight might be the only one that's okay. But I wouldn't put the Arkhams. I think the Batman games they're not good. The combat's it's too much of the same crap over and over and over again. But I guess compared to the previous Batman games that came before that, I guess it is a step up. But okay, we got On coming through with the 2. Cover GTA 6 in a way that makes sense. Yeah, we are. Well, we're covering it right now. These are the funnest streams, because this is the call before the storm. Because once everyone starts yapping about this game, it's going to be hard for anyone to even start tuning in. I mean, because everyone's going to have a video on it. Everyone's going to have a stream on it, right? So right now, no one's willing to discuss this because it doesn't generate clicks. It's not necessarily a hot topic right now. It is, but it's also not, if that makes any sense. So right now, this is what we've loved doing for the past year and a half. or whatever. We've been talking periodically about this game. All last year I talked about this game when there was no news. We're still doing that, and I don't know why we're still doing that. I don't know why there's still no information regarding this game. I don't know why we're nearly 450 days, and the curtain still hasn't been pulled back. That's insanity to me. 450 days, and the curtain still hasn't been pulled back. And you can't help but wonder, it's like, what is going on with this game? How you can think that this game is in a great position right now is unbelievable. But these normies just think that this game is coming out, and then when it gets delayed, whatever that is, they're going to act shocked and say, holy shit, Rockstar, why did you delay GTA 6? We wanted it this year. You said fall 2025. And it's like, it's not happening. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but GTA 6 is not coming out this year. I mean, I'd love to be proven wrong. But I will say this, we did get news within the last week or so that the PC version for GTA 5 is getting an update for free, and it's coming out with all the improvements and enhancements and all the visual effects and flair, and that's good because it does kind of clear the runway. I already said this. I said they have to get that out of the way first, and I think that is a good sign that they have at least finally announced that. And we covered that as well. Of course, no one listened, but we covered that as well. And I said, well, this is what it says in the Rockstar Newswire. I said, they have to put out the GTA 6 and GTA 5 rather expanded and enhanced edition on PC, and they have to get that out before any sort of trailer 2 or any GTA 6 related content comes. So now that that's coming, I think, what is that, March 10th or something? I think that's releasing soon. Within the next few weeks, the GTA 5 PC version's getting an update. We'll take a look at that because it's free and we already have it on there. So we'll take a look at that since it's free and we'll see what the graphics are like. But now that that's out of the way, I think it does kind of clear the runway for a potential update on this game, and maybe not the update that you're looking for. But, if it is an update, and it's not a good update, if it's a delay update, I mean, it is what it is. An update at this point is an update. So at least at this point, the runway is clear. Naon is coming through. I can't wait to see Michael play GTA 6. It's over. Yeah, and I already said at the 15-minute mark, once we're able to roam around in the open world, we'll do a 15-minute test. And I'll immediately start checking out some of the features and mechanics of the game, and I'll pause it at 15 minutes, and I'll give you my 15-minute assessment on whether or not I think this game is great. And one of the ways we'll test out GTA 6 is we'll get into a car, and we'll drive it to the gas station, and we'll see if we can fill it up. Now, we might know before the game comes out that might be a feature in the game, but we can still see it in action in the game. So if they have that mechanic, well, that's fascinating. I also believe that I think, if you store a car in your garage in GTA 6, I think the cars that you store in your garage, I think you have to kind of maintain them like the Horse and Red did too. I think that's how it's going to work. I think the cars that you store in your garage, I think you'll have to do oil changes. And this sounds crazy, but it's not really that in-depth. We're just talking on the surface. But I think, the more wear and tear you put on the car, the more likely it's going to potentially break down depending on what model and make it is in the game. And if you don't maintain it, then it becomes less reliable over time throughout the missions and things like that. So you might have to pick a car that actually, I'm telling you, the whole thing has to be reworked from the ground up, because you can't just make the same game again that you did on the PlayStation 3 with the 2005 hardware in mind. That's ridiculous. This is an all-new experience built from the ground up with the technology we have today, the SSD, the more memory bandwidth than ever. I mean, you have to expand upon this, and you have to just bring something that's going to be next level for the next, however long, for the open world genre and the medium as a whole. This game has to be the biggest video game of all time, and it will be in terms of popularity and sales, but I mean in terms of quality and satisfaction rate. That's what I'm really looking for. The quality of what I'm looking at on the screen, and not just in terms of graphics, but in terms of, am I satisfied? Am I really just blown away by this depiction of Vice City this time around? And, I want this game to make the other ones obsolete. I think that's what they should do. They should make this game make the other ones obsolete in the sense that it's like, yeah, you're never going to go back and play those old GTA games because they were so primitive. You couldn't even do this, that, and the third in them. And now in GTA 6, you can do anything. You can go up to someone's door and knock on the door, and they might answer. That's what we're looking for in this game. We're looking for the be-all, end-all, where there won't be a GTA 7, where this will be the next game that And this game is going to make so much money. I mean, nothing will ever come close. I don't think you guys are getting it or understanding it, but in about 2 years from now, I think you hopefully will understand it by then. But that's okay, because you can come back to the stream in 2 years and be like, damn, this guy was right on the money. And it's like, yeah, we always are. Unfortunately, because it gets boring being so right. And, you know, I wish I were wrong, but yeah, it's going to be 30 frames, and that's going to piss people off. That's going to be, in fact, that's going to be a bigger conversation than the $100. So here's the thing. The Internet's going to turn on this game. I can already predict it. You can come back and see how right I was with this. So what's going to happen is eventually, whenever Trailer 2 comes or whenever they have information on this game, whether it be later this year or 2026 or whenever this game gets closer to actually coming out, they're going to potentially announce a maybe higher price point option for one of the versions of the game, which is going to piss people off because, God forbid we support something that we like, right? Gamers could never be bothered to do that, right? You love the game, but you can't be bothered to pay for it. It doesn't make any sense. But you also have to factor in, and I forgot what I was talking about, but oh, the Internet's turning on the game. Okay, so the price point is going to be a big factor, but not only that, there was another thing that I was thinking of, but I can't remember it. But the Internet's going to turn on this game. Wait, let me read this comment here. Okay, 30 frames. That was what triggered it. 30 frames. Nope. So the game could be potentially $100, and the game could be potentially running at 30 frames. And that's going to be the point in time when the Internet turns on this game. So they haven't right now. This is the Internet darling game right here, because this is a real trailer, Okay, well, when there is potentially a $100 version, and when the game runs at 30 frames, the Internet is turning on this game. So if you're a grifter, get ready for that, because you got to start pumping out videos. The Internet will turn on this game, and that's when it will happen. They don't want to hear 30 frames. The Internet darling crowd loves their RTX 5090. They don't want anything less than that, right? They don't play video games, but they're the loudest, okay? So with that said, 1080p 30. IAD's coming through. That's what we're talking about.
I at super chatted $5. $5 meal tonight.
Oh, man. $5 meal, by the way. It's getting cold out here. I mean, it's getting cold out here, man. Granted, we've been sitting, but it felt way warmer earlier. I don't know what happened, but I think the temperature is dropping. IAD is coming through. IAD is coming through. That's what we love to see. Oh, my God. Well, it's cold out here right now. We would have to warm back up, and then maybe I'm rocking. I'm trying to stay warm. It's cold. I only have a sweatshirt on, and the temperature has dropped within the last 2 hours. I could tell you that right now, because the sun was out. When the sun was out, this shit was warm out here. It was like, wow, it's spring. Now it's starting to feel like not spring. And what the fuck was that noise? Hey, Tommy Vassetti. It will be woken 30 frames. Yeah, I already said. Well, I said the internet is going to turn on this game, and that's going to be the deciding factor. The 30 frames. That's it. When it gets officially announced, actually, I don't think Rockstar will announce it. I don't think they would. They don't get into the gameplay details in that way. You just play the game when it comes out. But if it comes out that the game is at 30 frames officially, they will not be happy about that, and the internet will be turning on this game. Tom of a city. The expectations are too high. It won't take for them long to turn on it. Well, that's because I already said 30 frames per second. It's over. The game won't be at 60. Maybe PlayStation 5 Pro, but I just don't see that. unless they can really figure that out. But maybe it will. I don't know. But if it's at 30 frames, it's over. And that's what we have. That's what we have to just assume, because Red Dead Redemption 2 is still at 30 frames on console. Red Dead Redemption 2, they have not updated that for the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, and those consoles are going, on 5 years now. So there is no Red Dead Redemption 2 Ultimate version. I mean, never say never, but right now that's not obviously the priority, and that won't be. Maybe when it hits the 10-year anniversary or something. I mean, you get a PlayStation 6 port or something, but. 30 frames in 2025. See, here we go. Dirt Shrimp is mad about this, and I don't understand why you guys can't handle this. Okay, here's the thing. Red Dead Redemption 2 on every platform but PC is 30 frames. That wasn't a problem in 2018, though. You guys say Red Dead Redemption 2 is a masterpiece. Okay, what did it sell best on? Not PC. So primarily, everyone played Red Dead Redemption 2 at 30 frames. Frames don't matter. Frames don't make great games. I don't know where you guys are getting this from, but it's probably from the Digital Foundry clowns that you guys love watching. You guys think 60 frames automatically makes the game better. Well, it's going to provide a smoother gameplay experience, but is that necessary in a cinematic game? And I would argue that this is a cinematic game. Red Dead Redemption 2 is at 30 frames. Red Dead Redemption 2 is at 30 frames. You guys aren't listening. We're going to have to wrap it up here. You guys are not listening. You can't be serious about that? So you're going to get mad. So I am right in the sense that you guys are going to turn on the game when it gets announced that it's at 30. This game's not going to be at 60 frames. I mean, if you guys think that is going to be the case, well, I don't know what to tell you. This game is going to be at 30 frames. This game will not be at 60 frames. I mean, maybe on the PlayStation 5 Pro or something, but I don't even think that that's going to be able to do it. So I think you're going to be locked at 30, and I think that you guys are going to have to just deal with it until the PC version comes out, right after release, whenever that is. Well, they think that 60 frames automatically makes the game great, and I just think that's ridiculous. I don't understand. Michael, I don't talk to you XD. What does that mean? Well, we weren't talking to you, certainly, so what you're talking about. There's going to be graphical options just like most games today. Rockstar's never done that before, so why would you believe that that's going to be Actually, that's not true. That's not true. Yeah, there could be a 60 frame, but I think the default experience, there might be, because I disagree. I think you're wrong. Actually, I do think you're wrong because GTA 5 had that option, but GTA 5 it's a PS3 game. They can push it at 60 frames, but there is no. GTA 6 is a game that's pushing the boundaries of hopefully what this medium can provide in the open world genre. It's going to be at 30 frames locked. Just there's no reason to bring it up. I don't know why you guys are getting so triggered over this. You act like that makes you can't handle 30 frames. All of your favorite games Ghost of Tsushima when it came out in 2020. Guess what frame rate that was running? Georgie's still in here and he's coming through. This is what we love to see. Holy fucking shit! I gotta wrap this up. You guys are.
Georgie Cifuentes super chatted $5. Michael and everyone else, I say let's wait till GTA 6 is released. Then we will see what the game offers.
Yeah, well, that's what we've been waiting for a while now. I mean, over 450 days since the official trailer, so I guess we're just going to have to wait another few hundred. I mean, I don't know what their plan is, but hopefully they pull the curtain back soon because this shit's getting crazy. Like, this waiting game is getting insane. And again, there is a cutoff point. Like, we will get an update on this game within the next 3 or 4 months. There has to be an update. Like literally within that time frame, even sooner than that, maybe the next 2 or 3 months. Like, there has to be an update. Like, at some point, they have to pull the curtain back, even if it's bad news, and say, yeah, the game is delayed. I mean, I guess they don't, but it's not going to make sense, and it's not going to look good for Rockstar Games to have coming 2025 on there. And we've heard fall 2025, and, what if we're in the fall and there's still no information on this game? Well, then obviously it's not coming. But maybe they don't delay it until fall. Maybe they wait until fall to pull the curtain back and delay it. I mean, we could still have another 4 or 5 months of waiting. Like, no one knows when Rockstar's pulling the curtain back on this game, when there is trailer 2, when there is more information on this game, when there are screenshots of this game. We literally don't know. It could be at any point in time. It could be tomorrow. It could be in 2 weeks. It could be in, 3 months. Who knows? But at some point, like, during this year, like, there has to be an update on this game. And it's probably not going to be the update that people want to hear. No on is coming through. That's what we're talking about. It didn't play out, but he says Lucia's... What the fuck? No wonder why it didn't play out. No on coming through with a 10. And coming through hard and strong. Georgie just came through with a 5. Not on coming through with the 10. That's what we're talking about. We're going to have to wrap this up soon because it's getting chilly out here, folks. That temperature has just dropped tremendously. That's why we're rocking back and forth, because it's pretty chilly out here trying to stay warm. 30 frames per second is just unacceptable. Great. Now I know what video to make. Thanks for letting me know. I'm going to make a video called I Want 30 Frames for GTA 6. That's what it's going to be called. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to say if the game's at 60, I'm not buying it. Just to spite you losers. Oh, Michael, the game needs to be at 60 frames, otherwise it's an inferior product. I can't handle it. I mean, look. Here's what I'll say. Let me just put it to you this way: if the game gets delayed to 2026, then the expectation of 60 frames becomes more of a. Then it becomes more of a thing where it's like, yeah, you kind of maybe need that, especially if the game isn't coming until fall of 2026. Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of embarrassing to put it out at 30. Not that it really matters to me, because if I can go into 90% of the interiors, if this game is truly just magnificent from top to bottom and unlike anything that we've ever played or seen before, then I don't care about frame rate. The better frame rate version will come along, right? Well, yeah, at least on PC, if it does come out on PC, a couple of years after the initial release. So the better frame rate version will come. You're just going to have to hold your horses on that. And more importantly, what we need to know and understand is, is Rockstar going to put out something that is quality? Frame rate comes last. I don't know why we're concerned about frame rate. I'll play the game at 24 frames a second. Look at the frame rate on this stream. It's the YouTube chat. I got to close the YouTube chat. We're running out of... Your favorite movies are, filmed at 24 frames a second, so how come you guys don't want your movies how come you don't like watching movies at 60 frames a second? You guys never complained about that. When you go to the theater and see your favorite movie, it's filmed at typically 24 frames a second. And you guys weren't complaining about that, so I don't understand. It's getting cold out here, folks. We got to wrap this up. GTA 6 is not happening. 250 days, 400, Jesus, 200, by the way. We're 450 days later nearly, and there's just no information, and we need Rockstar to pull the curtain back, but it isn't happening just yet. Now, again, like I said, in terms of positive things, they did announce the PC version of GTA 5. They said that is coming in March, and that does kind of clear the runway after that. But right now, again, they're still in charge of what's coming down that runway, and, GTA 6 might not be on there. So GTA 6 is not coming this year. We should have had a second trailer already. Finally, someone with their fucking thinking cap on here. I would love to be proven wrong. I mean, Demon Vector, I would love to be proven wrong, and I certainly hope that the game does come out this year, but I just, and it's not me being negative, it's just me being realistic, and unfortunately that appears negative to some people because they just, it crushes their fantasies of this game actually coming out this year, but it's like, I'm sorry, but we're almost in spring now, and it's like there's still no information. Now, again, after GTA 5 update comes, maybe we can get a little bit more positive and say, well, now the runway is clear, and they got that out of the way. And that was one thing that I told you guys, and I was right about that as well, is that they needed to get that out of the way because they said that was coming. They said they said last year, like around October, that beginning this year, sometime this year. Within the new year, I think that was the wording, they were going to put out the PC version of GTA 5 with the updates and enhancements. And now that has been officially announced by Rockstar Games, that is a great sign because, again, it does clear the runway in terms of, now they have maybe a little bit more room to talk about GTA 6 and get that ball rolling because that would be fantastic. But other than that, it's still a waiting game. You still have to wait for that PC version of GTA 5 to come out. And then once that's done with, maybe a few weeks after that, cross your fingers and hope for the best. Frame bros obsessed with graphic settings. That's all they care about. They want to press start on the screen and just start digging into the settings. And it's like you're not even playing the game. You're looking at a menu screen. That's not playing the game. That's looking at like the percentage of the fucking GPU VRAM utilization. Like that's not playing the game, dude. You're like trying to be like this mad scientist. How much power wattage is my 5090 drawing? Oh, my God. Like, who cares? You leave that up to Linus Tech Tips, bud. You're not Linus Tech Tips, Jeez. You don't go outside and try and be the weatherman, do you? Like, I don't know why you guys trying to emulate Linus Tech Tips. Okay, we're going to wrap this up here within the next minute or so. I've been live for 2 hours and 30 minutes, folks. It's getting cold out here. We're losing daylight. We're going to wrap this up here soon. Oh, that's what I mean. Some games are upscaled. I don't care about resolution or frame rate. That doesn't make a good movie. Why would it make a good video game? Dude, you guys are not getting it. You need to play those games in a way that makes sense, 30 frames. Cyberpunk on PS4, play the day one version of that and come back to me. Go buy a PS4, not with an SSD, but just go buy a PS4 and play Cyberpunk on the disc, and you come right back to me and you tell me that CD Projekt Red is the best in the business. Oh, the shilling. That's the version I played, and I still can't believe the shape that game. I mean, it was so bad that PlayStation pulled it off the PlayStation Store. Like, imagine. Like, dude, that whole thing was just so insane. You'll never see anything like that ever again. Like, literally. That was history. Because the next one's on an Unreal Engine, and yeah, that engine is trash, but there's no way that they can put it out and it'll be And they lied all about that too. They said the PlayStation 4, the last gen versions are, they were implying that they were running good and all this bullshit. And it's like, yeah, clearly that's not the case. I mean, it's insanity. Okay, well then you're a fake gamer. I'm just going to say that you're a fake gamer. If you, I'm going to be honest with you. If 60 frames is the deal breaker, you're a fake gamer. It's as simple as that. That's ridiculous to me, guys. You guys are legitimately upset with that? That's crazy. That is insane, dude. You need your 60 frames, otherwise the game's trash. By the way, that has nothing to do with the content in the game. Like, it's unbelievable how you guys just have to factor this garbage in and say, well, I need my game at 60. And it's like, no, because in order for the game to run at 60, that's 50% more frames than 30, right? 3 plus 3 is 6. So, yeah, that's half. So that's 50% more frames. Okay, well then guess what? You want 50% more frames? We're cutting this, we're cutting that because we're running out of memory. So now you have to ask yourself, what's more important, the quality of the game or 60 frames? And if you guys say 60 frames, then you're a fake gamer. You're a fake gamer. Here we go. Fable's in here. Yeah, Fable's in here. They're not getting it. I don't understand why the 60 frames discussion is so big. it's like, I mean, I guess if 60 frames is an option, but oh, it's 100% more frames. No, you guys are fake gamers. I'm not going to discuss. But thanks for the idea for the next video, because I'm going to title it GTA 6 30 frames, because I think that's just a big talking point for some reason. I don't know why it is, but I don't know why you guys care about 60 frames so bad. It's not. I mean, maybe for online it should be at 60 frames, but the story mode shouldn't be at 60 frames. GTA 5 is a PS3 game. That's why they can push it to 60 frames at 4K or whatever resolution it runs at. But you're not getting 60 frames for GTA 6. It's not happening. I don't see it. I don't see it. Red Dead Redemption 2, 30 frames is an incel cope? What does that even mean? Bro, you're down bad, homie. Dude, Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. Red Dead Redemption 2 runs at 30 on all consoles. There's no 60. There's no update that magically unlocks 60 frames. You have to get the PC version to get 60 frames or above on Red Dead 2, and most people don't have the PC to run that game. So the majority of people that enjoyed and played Red Dead 2 and have these fond memories of that game, guess the frame rate that they played it in? 30. They played it at 30 frames. Fake gamers can't handle it. We already read that. PC Master Race eyes can't handle 30 frames. I will say that 30 frames. I will say that 30 frames on console is, 30 frames on PC is more noticeable than it is on console. I will say that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Good physics instead of frame rate. Yeah, I would rather have realistic physics. I would rather have just much more going on within the game world than 60 frames. Because the game is going to be more limited if it's at 60 frames than it would be at 30. If they can. I mean, it's crazy. Days Gone, you guys, Days Gone, it was at 30 frames on PS4. It maxed out at, I think, 30 frames. And I don't even think it was consistent. I don't think you guys are in like a different era. The PS4 era was not 60 frames. There were probably a few games that did that, but the majority of those massive Sony games, they were not at 60 frames. And yet you guys, Bloodborne runs like garbage. You guys love that game. So obviously frame rate doesn't matter, because if it did, no one would have bought those games. That's the argument you're trying to make, and I understand. I understand it's 2025, and next year's 2026 and 2027, and I understand the hardware's gotten better, but if frame rate really did matter, then those games would have never sold in the first place. They would have protested, and they would have said Red Dead Redemption 2 sucks because it's at 30 frames. Bloodborne sucks because it's at 30 frames. Last of Us 2 sucks because it's at 30 frames. Last of Us 1 sucks because it's at 30 frames. The conversation just doesn't make sense to me. That's what we're talking about yet again. Georgie's coming through. Yet again, Georgie's coming through.
Georgie Cifuentes super chatted $5. Michael the First said it before and I will say it again. Rockstar is keeping quiet because of the hackers leaking game footage.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. That whole thing where they leaked the game footage. I think that was another thing that put a fork in the road with this game. But and that's another thing that they have to combat too, like the leaked footage. Because people might look at the leaked footage and say, "Wow, that's really GTA 6. It looks like shit." And it's like, well, yeah. If I've seen the leaked footage, and I'm sure most of you have as well. And it's like, yeah, if that is the game, then that is a disappointment, because it doesn't look. It doesn't look like it's a revolutionary game, but that's obviously leaked footage. It's alpha footage. It's not finalized, and that's years and a couple of years ago, a few years ago. So obviously the game has changed tremendously. That's what we're talking about. Gnaw On is coming through. It's getting cold.
Gnaw On super chatted $5. I care more if the story is going to be woke. TBH.
Oh, well, yeah, it's going to have woke themes. It's going to be sanitized. It's going to be watered down. I mean, but that's what it has to be in 2025 and beyond. They put out a game that has strong opinions and feelings. They're not going to make money, and that's just not what they're. That's not the Rockstar of new. The Rockstar of old. They had more leeway and freedom on. Oh yeah, they're putting out an. Back then, this wasn't $1 billion industry. It's now a multi-billion-dollar industry. So, We're not saying it didn't make money back then, but obviously it did. But the gaming industry makes more money now than ever, and as such, these games, they have to hit the checklist. They can't offend anyone, and that's why the quality of these games is totally downhill, because they have to ensure that this doesn't piss someone off, and that they have all of these things within the game, and that they don't offend anyone. They have these accessibility options. They have all these language options. I mean, it's just you didn't have any of that back in the day, like. I'm serious. Like you didn't have any of that back in the day. It was none of that was even a thing. If you were disabled and you wanted to play a game, you didn't have options to accommodate those things. Now they have to ensure that all of that's in the game. That takes up resources. That takes up budget. It just takes up so much time. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up, folks. If you care of the frame rate and resolution, Fake Gamer. 30 frames, Kingdom Come 2 is 1440p, 60. How is 30 possible? Only once bought a console for The Last of Us 1 PS 2. Okay, we read all the comments, and we're going to wrap this up. Oh, my God. Alrighty, folks, that is going to do it. That is going to do it. We were live for 2 hours and 36 minutes. That is going to do it, folks. We are going to wrap it up here. And it's been nearly 450 days since GTA 6 Trailer 1, and we wanted to do a check-in here. And right now, it's not looking too hot, but I will say that once the PC version for GTA 5 comes out, I think people will start getting excited again, because, again, that clears the runway for potentially any rumblings about GTA 6 officially from Rockstar Games. So I think we're going to at least have to wait until the early of March and see where Rockstar Games takes it from there. And hopefully they push it forward in a way that makes sense, and hopefully we get a fantastic update on GTA 6, and hopefully the game is coming out later this year, because that would be utterly fantastic, and that's what we want to see. But if it does need more time in the oven, then, well, the expectations for me go up even further, and they're already pretty high. So this game's going to have a lot it's going to have to have a lot, I'll tell you that, in order to start impressing, especially if it gets delayed to 2026, because you think my expectations are unrealistic. I mean, you should see what people are saying about this game on the internet. It's insane. They think that this game is going to be just the magic genie that comes down and saves everything, and it's like, it's a fucking video game, dude. Like, there's limitations. Like, it can't be this life simulator game where you can just spend 400 hours of your life and flip burgers in the burger shot in the game. And it's like, well, maybe you can in this one, but we have yet to see that. So, but if you're expecting any of that stuff, I mean, I think that's just a little crazy, but we'll see. Maybe that's a mission in GTA 6 where you can get a job at the burger shot and flip burgers. Yeah, I would play that. Dead ass, I'd play that. Because I know it would be good. I know, the mini games in this, are going to be fantastic. Alrighty, folks, we're going to wrap it up here. It is time to wrap it up. So with that said, we do appreciate you guys for tuning in, tagging along, supporting the show. And we will see you later. It's over. Hey there, mister. Who let the simpleton out of the asylum? Arthur!